is hereby called to order. Please rise for a minute of silent prayer.
Sa pagbubukas ng ika-9 na araw ng impeachment trial ni Vice President Sara Duterte, patuloy na tatalakayin ang Article 4 na may kinalaman sa umano'y assassination plot, inciting to sedition at grave threats na paratang laban sa pangalawang Pangulo. Sa ilang sandali ay ipagpapatuloy muli ng kampo ng depensa ang kanilang cross-examination o pagtatanong sa testigo ng prosecution na si National Bureau of Investigation Director Atty. Matibag matapos silang mapagbigyan ng karagdagang oras ng impeachment court dahil sa kanilang inihaing motion for continuance. Ayon naman sa prosecution, magsasagawa rin sila ng redirect examination kay Matibag sa oras na matapos ang pagtatanong ng depensa. Aabangan natin kung magkakaroon rin ba ng recross examination ang mga abogado ng Vice Presidente. Bibigyan rin ng pagkakataon ang mga senator judge na magkaroon ng clarificatory questions. Panoorin natin ang ika-9 na araw ng impeachment trial ng Vice Presidente.
On impeachment trials, the Chair now recognizes the duly elected presiding officer to preside over the proceedings of the impeachment court.
Thank you, Mr. Senate President. If there are no objections, we shall dispense with the reading of the journal of July 21, 2026 of the Senate sitting as an impeachment court and shall consider the same as approved. The clerk of court will please call the case before the impeachment court.
Case number 004-2026 in the matter of impeachment trial of Vice President Sara Duterte.
Appearances.
Good afternoon, Your Honors. Respectfully appearing for the prosecution. We are ready, Your Honor.
Thank you. Appearances for the respondent.
Good afternoon, Your Honors. Same appearance for the defense.
The status of the trial is that we will be proceeding or continuing rather with the cross-examination of the counsel for respondent. Clerk of court is directed to kindly get the witness and have him situate himself before the witness stand for the cross of the counsel for respondent. So ordered. Good afternoon, Director Matibag. You shall continue with your testimony, specifically the cross-examination of counsel for respondent, and shall be testifying under the same oath yesterday. Do you understand that, sir?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you, sir. Good afternoon. And counsel for respondent may proceed when you're ready, sir.
Your Honor, considering the interpellations yesterday by the senator judges and to give time also for more interpellations today, if any, we'll just go over several cross points, Your Honor.
You may proceed, sir. And as instructed by the chair yesterday, the interjections and interventions of senator judges shall be after the cross, redirect, and recross, if any. You may proceed, sir.
Good afternoon again, Director Matibag.
Good afternoon, sir.
Director Matibag, in relation to Article 4 of this Articles of Impeachment, you were likewise subpoenaed by the House Committee on Justice to attend its mini-trial, correct?
Yes, sir.
Was it a subpoena?
Objection, Your Honor.
Asked and answered, Your Honor.
Asked and answered.
Was it a subpoena ad testificandum or duces tecum or both?
I recall that this is a subpoena duces tecum in ad testificandum.
And you appeared on various dates, but you appeared on April 29, 2026, correct?
April 29, yes, sir.
All right. Now, you issued Administrative Order number 11 on April 16, 2026, correct?
Yes, sir.
So, AO 11 was issued only 13 days prior your appearance before the mini-trial.
So, April 16, 29, minus, that's about it, 13 or 12 days, sir.
All right. And this was one of the documents that you submitted by virtue...
Your Honor.
I have no question, Your Honor.
Yes, Your Honor, but I just want to enter a continuing objection to the use of mini trial. It was never a mini trial. It is a clarificatory hearing.
Your Honor, just a short rejoinder. Isn't
You
it?
may proceed, counsel.
Isn't it? With all due respect, isn't it Representative Luistro who termed such proceeding as mini trial? We just want to inquire of Representative Luistro.
May I respond, Your Honor?
The lead prosecutor may respond thereafter. We shall continue. Yes, what is your response, counsel?
The prosecution has been very consistent that what we did in the Committee on Justice of the House of Representatives is never a mini trial. It is a clarificatory hearing consistent to the House rules on impeachment and even consistent to the provisions of Article 11 of the Constitution.
The continuing objection of counsel, lead prosecutor, is duly noted in regard to the line and words used by counsel for respondent. Counsel for respondent may proceed.
All right. Going back, this was one of the documents that you submitted by virtue of the subpoena duces tecum, correct? AO number 11.
Yes.
In fact, AO number 11 was first mentioned in public during that April 29, 2026 hearing, correct?
In that hearing, yes, but I cannot recall if what's been made public before.
All right. But you mentioned it in that hearing.
I think it was mentioned,
All right.
yes, sir.
Now, AO 11 pertains to the creation of a special task force. Is it not?
Yes, sir.
All right. And according to the whereas clause, and I will read it and I'll quote it, it says, threats to the life of the president constitute a grave offense with far-reaching implications on national stability, public safety, and the continuity of government. Do you confirm this?
Your Honor,
sir, may I
we-
request for a copy
Yes,
of the
please.
document so that I can examine it?
Very well.
Thank
may
you.
I ask my co-counsel, Your Honor, to provide
Assisting counsel for respondent may approach. Likewise, assisting counsel for the prosecutor may approach the witness.
Yes, sir.
All right. My question is this. Are threats to the life of the Vice President constitute a grave offense with far-reaching implications on national stability, public safety, and the continuity of government?
Your Honor, objection, please.
What's
What
the
is
ground,
the
Your
ground for
Honor?
the objection?
The question of the defense is speculative.
Overruled. Witness may answer.
The threat to the president and all other high government officials like the Senate President, the Chief Justice, the Speaker of the House, or any other officers is a threat to the national security and threat to public safety.
All right, very well. Now, did you create a special task force to investigate on the threats to the life of VP Sara?
There was none to my recollection.
Right. So, let us recall the interview of Dempsey Reyes of the Philippine Daily Inquirer. This is part, Your Honor, of Annex G9 of the Articles of Impeachment. And please direct your attention to paragraph 13 of the minutes of the meeting and allow me to read. Number 13, are you aware of the threats?
Your Honor, please, may we confront the witness with the document?
Very well, Your Honor. We will provide
assisting-
the hard copy and we will display also or flash on the screen a soft copy of such document.
Assisting counsel for both parties may approach the bench and confront the witness with a copy of the document that the counsel for the respondent is referring to. Kindly proceed, counsel.
All right. It says, paragraph 13, or question and answer number 13. Are you aware of the threats? Answer. May press con kasi earlier than that, sabi niya lang, gusto daw siyang patayin daw, according to her ni speaker. That was during a press conference the day before, November 22. So my question is, can you confirm that this is part of the NBI's own records?
It reflected on the investigation report, so I presume it is.
All right. So this is information regarding the threats to the life of VP Sara, is it not?
Nakalagay po doon, may threat daw po.
Alright.
Sama po.
And when you became NBI Director in February 2026, did you conduct a motu proprio investigation to help her?
I was informed by the investigating officers that it was considered the threat that was mentioned to the Vice President. In fact, personalities were subpoenaed, including the Vice President, 2 times in order to aid the National Bureau of Investigation in this investigation. However, to no avail, there was no attendance from the personalities that was invited.
All right. So let me clarify. Under your leadership already, did the NBI subpoena VP Sara for this?
We never subpoenaed because we noticed that every time proper subpoenas was issued to the Vice President, she will never attend a subpoena.
And your basis for saying that is the subpoena connected to the first investigation, correct?
Not only that, in a lot of proceedings, including the proceeding in the impeachment at the House of Representatives, I noticed that she never attended.
So that was your motivation for not issuing a subpoena. Anyway, under your leadership...
Your Honor, please, may I move to strike from the record the word motivation? The witness never said motivation.
Let it remain in the record. Witness may, counsel may proceed.
All right, so under your leadership, did the NBI subpoena former Speaker Martin?
Wala pa po.
Wala. But do you intend to issue a subpoena against him?
Actually, when we're investigating the issue on the 18 Marines, if the 18 Marines was able to issue their statement properly, we intend to subpoena Speaker Martin Romualdez.
Okay. So under your leadership, did the NBI subpoena those who were present during that November 22 press con?
There are some personalities that were subpoenaed. In fact, I noticed that you have presented the subpoena yesterday.
Yeah, but isn't it that those subpoenas were under the leadership of Director Santiago?
Well, as to the investigation of at that time, it was already been the subject of a resolution pending before the Department of Justice.
So in other words, insofar as the alleged threats to the President, there is an ongoing investigation. But in terms of the alleged threats against the Vice President, there's no ongoing investigation.
Because there is a big difference, Your Honor.
Okay. How about Princess Maui, for example, from the November 23 press con? Was she subpoenaed under your leadership?
Ask
No.
and answered question, Your Honor.
This is the first time about Princess Maui, Your Honor.
Your Honor, it has been asked already during the cross.
No, the ground is correct. Asked and answered, meaning the witness already answered, no, he did not.
All right.
Counsel may proceed.
But you mentioned a while ago that there were 2 subpoenas issued against VP Sara, correct?
Yes, sir. Based on the record that was turned over to
Yeah, but those 2 subpoenas were issued by former Director NBI Santiago and not under your leadership.
by the National Bureau of Investigation, yes, under the leadership of Director Santiago.
But just to clarify, under your leadership, no subpoena.
The subpoenas,
Ask and answered, Your Honor.
Asked and answered. Move on, counsel.
All right, I'll move on. Now, you mentioned yesterday that for grave threats and inciting to sedition, these are still pending before the DOJ.
Ask and answered, Your Honor.
Asked and answered, counsel.
All
Move
right.
on.
You likewise mentioned yesterday that you have an ongoing investigation. And my question is this for the alleged contracting for the assassination?
yes, that is very clear. I was able to explain that yesterday.
Okay, and particularly, the ongoing investigation pertain to the leads that you have to the alleged person that VP Sara talked to.
Among others, Your Honor.
But no subpoena has been issued to such alleged person under your leadership.
Because we are under a case build-up status. It is an ongoing investigation as mentioned yesterday, sir.
Okay. Now, let me just clarify. In a subpoena, the NBI must specifically identify the felony or crime for which you are issuing the subpoena. Is that not the case?
Yes, we provide what is the crime that
So-
we will investigate.
Okay, very well. So here, what will be the felony or crime that will be indicated in the subpoena?
But you have to remember, we are also have the mandate to protect the Constitution, to protect the peace and order. And if it goes to the national security and peace and order, we are also mandated to investigate.
Your Honor, with all due respect, Your Honor, the answer was not responsive.
Your
My
Honor.
answer was very specific. My question was very specific. What will be the felony or crime that will be indicated in the subpoena?
Witness will please answer. The question was simple. What is the crime, if any, or penalty in relation to the document being asked by the counsel?
We all know that there is no crime committed when there is a plan to kill until it is executed. But what I'm saying, that's why I'm qualifying, is because one of the mandates of the National Bureau of Investigation is to protect the national security. And we are also mandated to issue a subpoena or an investigation to do so. So if in this case, we cannot issue a subpoena, we can issue an invitation for those persons of interest.
So no, you cannot issue a subpoena, but just an invitation. In other words, this is not under the jurisdiction of the NBI, correct?
It is within the power of the NBI to protect the national interest and the national security. And as mentioned, there is a continuing threat to the President, and under Section G, Section 5 of the Republic Act 10867, it is one of the primary duty of the NBI to protect the security of the President.
All right. Yesterday, you also mentioned betrayal of public trust, correct?
That is correct.
Can that be indicated in the subpoena when you issue it against this alleged person?
It can be or it can be not. But why will we put the subject betrayal of public trust if the person being subpoena is not being tried for betrayal of public trust?
What if it's against the Vice President? Just to clarify, can the subpoena indicate betrayal of public trust?
We cannot put that because that is not a subject of a case under the revised penal code or a crime. The betrayal of public trust is the very well subject of an impeachment court.
All right. So you admit nonetheless that betrayal of public trust is a ground for impeachment, correct?
That is correct. I think it's in the Constitution.
All right. And are you saying that once you reach your findings, because we're all waiting for that, you will? Is it correct to say that you will file another impeachment case against VP Sara?
Oh, thank you for that question.
Objection, Your Honor. That is speculative.
I think the witness is competent enough, and in fact, thank the counsel for his question. I'm interested to hear what the witness will also answer.
Thank you, Mr. Presiding Officer. The betrayal of public trust as the issue in the impeachment court, we don't need to investigate even if we pinpointed the person contracted. Because the point being is, the betrayal of public trust was already been consummated when she publicly admitted, there is already an admission that she contracted a killer, a mamamatay tao or assassin, to kill the President. And that itself is already an admission. At sinabi pa niya, pumayag na yung kinausap kong mamamatay tao. That constitutes betrayal of public trust. Why? Because the oath of office of the President, sabi niya, she will execute the law and do justice to every man. So, pag nagbalak kang pumatay at ginawa mo yan, that is no justice to every man. It's not execute the law. Execute the President yung gusto mong gawin dyan.
Your Honor, with all due respect, Your Honor, I know that NBI Director took pains in explaining his answer, but his answer already contains conclusions of fact and law. And may we ask, Your Honor?
May I respond, Your Honor?
I'm not yet done. In keeping, Your Honor, with this court's ruling last week, may we ask, Your Honor, that it be stricken off the record, Your Honor? My answer was pretty simple. And
Counsel for the lead prosecutor.
My question was pretty simple. Sorry.
Your Honor, ang depensa po ang nagtanong kung mapapatunayan na nag-commit ng betrayal of public trust, kung sasampahan pa ng impeachment ulit at sinasagot lamang po ng testigo, consummated na ang betrayal of public trust dahil may kausap ng tao na pumayag na to execute the President, the First Lady, and the former Speaker.
That's precisely the ground for our motion, Your Honor. Can we get the ruling, Your
The
Honor?
motion to strike off is denied. Let the answer of the witness remain in the records. That was his answer, counsel. However, Interpretative it may seem with respect to the law, since the witness was qualified yesterday as not only being the NBI director, but also engaged in the legal profession for decades and is in fact a former law dean. Let that remain in the records for the consideration of the senator judges. You may proceed, counsel.
All right. My question is this. Are you conducting your ongoing investigation to substantiate this current impeachment case?
Again, sinabi ko na po, kung ang pagbabasihan is betrayal of public trust, nandoon na po. Bakit po namin hinahanap
A
yung
simple-
kinausap na papatay?
With all due respect, Detective, simple yes or no will do.
Hindi po, dahil sinabi ko na
Alright.
nga.
Can you rephrase your question, counsel?
So are you conducting the ongoing investigation to substantiate this current impeachment case?
No need to substantiate because it's already been established.
All right.
So
Now,
the answer, Director Matibag, so the answer is you are not investigating anything in connection with the current ongoing impeachment case.
Yes, because it's already been established.
all right.
Proceed, counsel.
Insofar as the leads to this alleged person, do you share information to the Cybercrime Division?
Kasama po ang Cybercrime Division sa aming pong committee. Kaya kung ano po yung mga findings na nandoon, kasama po sila kung sila po ang pumunta. Subalit, kung ito po ay meron pong level of security na hindi naman kailangan malaman ng Cybercrime Division, hindi po namin ito ibinabahagi sa kanila.
All right. So because after all, the Cybercrime Division is
Your
part.
Honor, please.
What's the question? What's the objection?
May we know if the defense is making a manifestation or raising a question?
I am going to the question.
He was
Your Honor.
about to ask a question, I believe, counsel. Let's allow him to finish his question. Counsel may proceed for the
So,
respondent.
Because the cybercrime is part of the special task force, correct?
That is correct po.
How about Agent Lotok in particular? Do you share the leads to this alleged person with him?
Hindi po siya parte ng Special Task Force.
But wasn't he part of the cybercrime division as well?
Hindi po, siya po ay regional director ngayon ng BARM.
Yes.
But he was once part of the cybercrime division.
Dati po yun nung hindi pa po ako
Alright.
director.
Okay. Now, let's go to the special task force that you mentioned. You have one team leader and two assistant team leaders in your special task force, correct?
Tama po.
All right. And then how many members from the NCR?
Ang NCR po, yung po ang buong division na kasali at ang tumatayo po na representante nito ay yung kanila pong regional director.
But you mentioned that they are members of the special task force. In your estimation, how many from the NCR are involved?
Ang NCR po, we give the freedom to the regional director kung ano pong aksyon ang kailangan niya aksyonan at ano pong team ang kanyang bubuin for purposes of doing a particular investigation in relation to the said task force po.
Your Honor, may we respectfully again ask that the court give a directive to Director Matibag to give a more responsive answer. My question is how many? So he can
May I comment, Your
estimate
Honor?
a number.
Counsel for the respondent, the question was how many? The answer of the good director was it depends, and it would depend on the NCR regional director how many he would assign. Witness will answer if he knows. If he does not, he may so respond as well.
Mr. Presiding Officer, sir, the thing is, depende nga po kung ano po yung magiging operation or surveillance na gagawin, we give independence and autonomy po doon sa regional director kung sino po at ilan ang i-assign. That's why ang composition po ng Special Task Force ay binubuo po ng 3 na individual at 5 pong divisions po namin. Dahil nga ang rason po nito, ipiniliwanag ko po kahapon, masyado pong malawak yung nagiging banta na it already transcends to an issue of national security po.
Okay, so you cannot give a number.
Your Honor,
Kasi
just an
depende
ask
nga
and
po
answer.
sa
It depends. So
sa
no
kung ano
definite.
operations po.
Let the presiding officer ask a clarificatory question. Hindi naman po mutually exclusive yung naka-assign na ahente po ninyo sa isang kaso lang, di ba?
Tama po, Your Honor.
So yung national, yung director nyo ng NCR, kung ilan mga ahente na nasa ilalim niya, posibleng 5, 10, 20, 30 iba't ibang kaso ang tinitingnan nila.
Tama po.
At kung ano man yung kaso may mainit o mainit na dapat panghawakan o malapit nang makuha o mas maraming taong kailangan, lalagyan niya ng tao, tatanggalan din niya, depende kung saan kailangan.
Yes, Your Honor. Tama po.
So is it correct to state that at any one time, that number will change?
Tama po. Eksakto po.
You may proceed, counsel.
All right, so that's for the NCR. Is it the same case for the Cybercrime Division or the CCD?
Sa lahat po ng units na nandoon, parehas po yung ating pong protocol na ginagawa.
But just to clarify, I'll go through it one by one. So it's the same for the Organized Transnational Crime Division?
Ganun din po.
All right. For the Technical Intelligence Division?
Tama po, sapagkat standard po yung
All right.
procedure namin.
For the Digital Forensic Laboratory or DFL?
Tama rin po.
All right. Now, are these members of this special task force given additional salary for their work for the special task force?
I think that is not allowed po under the law. Baka po bumagsak kami sa audit niyan or sa DBM po.
So they're basically working with the special task force for free?
Hindi po libre. Empleyado po sila. Mayroon po silang sweldo. At parte po ng trabaho nila yung ginagawa
So
po
in other
nila.
words, that's already part of their main job description?
I think that's how the government system work po, respectfully.
All right. Now, yesterday, you brought confidential records regarding your leads, correct?
Tama po.
Did you bring those records again today?
Nandirito po.
Nandun.
Sa aking bayong po.
And are these records from the special task force?
Iba-iba po. Halo-halo na po.
Halo-halo na. All right. And you mentioned that you cannot share these records to the public. Is that the case?
Tama po. Binanggit ko po kahapon.
All right. Now, if the Honorable Court issues a subpoena, will you comply?
Pag-aaralan po natin kung naayon sa batas ay beti nating ipagbigay alam po sa impeachment court na ito.
All right. Don't you believe that ang katotohanan ay hindi confidential?
Meron po tayong proseso na sinusunod. Kung ito man ay totoo at ito ay magbabiolate po sa batas, baka hindi po natin dapat itong gawin.
Dapat hindi payagan, no?
Hindi po hindi dapat payagan. I think sa linya po ng inyong
Objection, Your
katanungan.
Honor. The question is already argumentative.
I'll just move on to a new point. Anyway, during the time of Director Santiago, and let me lay the basis, no? Around 15 months, they didn't identify the alleged person that VP Sara talked to. And based on your testimony yesterday, it will take 3 to 6 months, even more, for this special task force to come up with definite findings as to the identity of this alleged person, correct?
Sinabi ko po 3 to 6 months, hindi po even more.
Okay, we'll just check the transcript for that. But at any rate, will this task force continue to exist and operate until you finally identify this alleged person, or does it have a time limit?
Kailangan po aming matagpuan yung pong taong binanggit na kinausap po.
So as long as you cannot provide a concrete output, the special task force will continue to exist.
Asked and answered, Your Honor.
Asked and answered. Move on, counsel.
All right. By the way, does NBI have intelligence funds?
Wala po, sir.
All right. Now, you also mentioned about the Rage Coalition event yesterday in Club Filipino on April 12, 2026, correct?
Tama po.
All right. Now, this was already around 14 months from VP Sara's press con, correct?
Tama po.
Now, my question to you is this. Was VP Sara present in that April 12, 2026 event?
Wala po siya, sir.
All right, no. Now, you mentioned also the concept of kinetic force. Can you recall?
Yes, sir.
All right. Now, my question to you is this. Despite the lapse of 14 months and the absence of VP Sara in that event, you still concluded that this event was still part of what you call kinetic force. Is that the case?
Tama po.
All right. And based on your findings, this kinetic force came from VP Sara's November 23, 2024 press con, correct?
Hindi lamang po yun. Ang sinabi ko po ay may pagkakaugnay sapagkat yung pong statement na I want to cut his head, gusto kong kunin ang ulo niya, at ang sinabi din po ni Mayor Baste, isang ulo lang ang kailangan namin, ang ulo ni Pangulong Bongbong Marcos.
All right. So, You mentioned also that there was a participant in a PBBM rally that shouted, "Barilin na yan." When did this happen, if you can recall?
Hindi po ito rally, meron pong event ang
okay.
ating pong Pangulo sa Nueva Ecija na naka-live broadcast po ito sa RTBN at meron pong nag-komento bigla na sinabi, "Barilin na yan."
Can you recall the date of that event? You said event.
Hindi ko po ma-recall yung exact date pero nandito rin po sa
Alright.
report sa amin yan.
But is this also part of the kinetic force that you mentioned?
Lumalabas po sa amin pong pag-aaral.
How about yung nangyari kay Undersecretary Claire Castro in Canada? Is this also part of the kinetic force?
Irrelevant, Your Honor.
Your Honor, I'm trying to lay the basis, Your Honor.
Witness may answer.
Well,
If he
ito
knows.
na nga po yung sinasabi natin na nagkakaroon po ng malawakang kaguluhan na epekto po ng madalas na pagbabanta at seryosong pagbabanta sa Pangulo na ngayon ang mga itaong kahit na ordinaryo ay inaatake po. Hindi lamang ang Pangulo kundi ang iba pa rin pong matataas na posisyon.
So the answer is yes, it's
Yes.
part of the kinetic force. So in other words, this kinetic force can reach foreign countries.
Lumalabas po na gano'n.
Okay.
Dahil marami po tayong Pilipino na nandoon na napapanood po
That's
sa social
okay,
media.
Director. Now, how about the flood control rallies? Is this part of the kinetic force?
Yung flood control rally na alin pong flood control rally? To be
Any flood
specific.
control rally?
Probably,
Is it part-
baka po kung maaari lang po sir, ibigyan nyo ko ng specific para po mas may paliwanag ko po.
I'll just move on. So any dissent against the government must be attributed to this kinetic force. Is that what you're saying?
Speculative, Your Honor.
Witness may answer if he knows.
Depende po kung anong event. Kaya nga po ang ginagawa po ng NBI ay atin pong sinusuri lahat ng pangyayari. Kahapon po inilatag namin yung 5 batayan namin para po magkaroon tayo ng malinaw na threat assessment sa lahat po ng pangyayari.
All right. Now, isn't it that Mayor Baste, that participant in the PBBM event, the rallies in Canada, and the flood control rallies, don't they have a mind of their own?
Your Honor, we are objecting on the
Your
ground
Honor.
of vague. Kindly clarify the question.
Your Honor, the witnesses...
Kindly reform, counsel. I also did not quite get the question. Kindly reform, counsel.
So are you saying that these people that I mentioned, they cannot act independently and are compelled by the kinetic force that you mentioned?
That is
Sino pong mga
speculative, Your
tao?
Honor.
Mayor Baste, the participant in the PBBM rally, the rallies in Canada, and the flood control rallies.
Una po, there's no PBBM rally.
No, sorry, PBBM event. Sorry, I stand
PBBM
corrected.
event, yung sa Canada. Tsaka, yun nga po, alin po bang flood control? Babalik ko lang po doon, pasensya na po sir, para po mas makontextualize po nating mabuti.
Yes, Your Honor, please. May we request
I think the
clarification
question-
from the defense?
I think the question, Director Matibag, is produkto po ba nung binabanggit yung kinetic energy kahapon yung mga pagkilos laban sa administrasyon at individual na mga miyembro ng administrasyon?
Respectfully, Your Honor, sapagkat marami pong may pagkilos po na iba-ibang grupo.
So
na nakikita po
posibleng
natin.
hindi. May pagkilos na hindi, may pagkilos na
Tama
oo.
po. Kaya we have to qualify, we have to treat each event independently and apply the 5-factor test that we are being applying po sa mga pangyayari po.
So hindi porkit laban sa o tutol sa gobyerno o sa partikular na opisyal ng gobyerno ay ito na yung binabanggit yung kinetic kahapon.
Tama po, Your Honor.
Counsel may proceed.
Alright, my question is this. Is this kinetic force still active today or has it stopped?
Malinaw po, may mga pangyayari pa rin po.
And should we really stop this kinetic force or just allow it until 2028?
Hindi ko po, pakiulit po.
Anyway, I'll withdraw that question. Just move on to a different question. Is this kinetic force a legal concept?
Ito po ay konteksto sa aming base sa aming investigasyon. Again, ibabalik ko po ron sa aming 5 naging patayan na ginagamit din po ng ibang jurisdiction para makapag-establish po ng isang threat para sa isang national threat assessment po.
Again, just a manifestation that it's not responsive, but I'll just move on to a different point.
Your Honor, please.
What is the pleasure of the lead counsel?
The defense is making a side comment to the answer of the witness. Can we please remind him to avoid making side comment as previously invoked by the impeachment court?
Then
Your
I
Honor?
will raise another motion, Your Honor, that the witness's answer is not responsive.
Counsels, let this not be a debate between and amongst the two parties. Let the witness answer and give his testimony. Counsel, you may proceed.
All right. Was the Rage Coalition event a political rally?
Palagay ko po, sapagkat ang nandoon po ng mga political party po ng PDP laban at yung pong reforma na pinamumunuan po ng dating Speaker Bebot Alvarez.
All right. And as a lawyer and as a former dean ba, director or current dean?
Former
All
po.
right. So as a
nag-resign na po
lawyer
ako.
and a former dean, you are aware that political speech is constitutionally protected, correct?
Depende po kung anong talumpati. You have to qualify.
And unless we are under martial law again, Mayor Baste should be able to freely express his dissent to the government.
Your Honor, that is speculative.
Let the witness answer. He is competent to answer that question.
Unang-una, tama naman po kayo, wala namang martial law ngayon at pwede naman pong magsalita. But the freedom of expression has limitation also. Kung ito po ay nagbabiolate na ng batas at nakakasama na sa ating bayan, ay hindi naman po ito kasama na sa freedom of expression.
All right. But my question to you is this. Did he directly urge the people to overthrow the government in that rally?
Ang sinabi po niya, base sa aking testimonya, ay isang ulo lang ang gusto namin, ang ulo ni Bongbong Marcos. At kung matatandaan po ninyo, ay correlated it dun sa mga dati pang mga pangyayari. Hindi lang po yung event at sinabi na yun ang aming nagbasehan base sa aming pamantayan po sa pag-assess po ng bantao ng threat po.
But that was your own interpretation of what
That is not only my interpretation, but is the interpretation of the National Bureau of Investigation based on the standards that we follow, consistent to the standards
All right.
that you're following.
Is it your interpretation that those also demonstrate destabilization efforts?
Please repeat, pakiulit mo,
Is it
sir.
also the NBI's interpretation that those remarks constitute destabilization?
Argumentative, Your Honor.
No, if the witness can
If he
answer.
knows.
Ano pong particular na sinabi?
That speech by Mayor Baste, in general.
Yung pong kanyang sinabi na ang ulo lamang ni Bongbong Marcos ang kailangan namin at sabi ko nga, in correlation to the other events, applying the 5-factor standards that we have been using, which is recognized by other jurisdiction, dun po kami nagkaroon po ng conclusion.
Sorry, Director, I didn't quite get your answer. So, are you saying that that's destabilization or no destabilization?
Misleading, Your Honor.
No, the director hasn't answered yet. He cited the basis, but cut short of answering the question. So, is it based on the 5 pillars of your investigation, Director?
Well, dun po yan, based on the 5 pillars na natin po, lumalabas po ng
Meron.
isa dun sa elemento ng 5 pillars, it comply po.
So,
sumasagot po doon.
So, meron
At
din.
hindi po destabilisasyon, kundi banta po sa kaligtasan ng Pangulo na naging banta na rin po sa pambansang seguridad po.
So you're admitting that there was no destabilization?
Argumentative, Your Honor.
No, it's connected to the question, Your Honor. Previous
Counsel, the
question.
witness has answered for the appreciation of the senator judges. You may proceed to a similar question or move on to another topic.
Yeah, I'll proceed with a similar question. Director, I am showing you a news article. This is Exhibit D-4-66, entitled, and I quote, "Palace dismisses the stab rumors versus Marcos admin." So it was published quite recently, May 12, 2026. And for the sake of time, I will just read the first line thereof.
Assisting counsel for the parties may approach.
It says here, and I quote, "Malacanang on Tuesday said it has not received any information about supposed destabilization efforts against President Ferdinand Bongbong Marcos Jr." My question to you is this. Claire Castro speaks on behalf of PBBM, correct?
Being the spokesperson, tama po, sir.
And based on her statement in this news article, there has been no destabilization efforts against PBBM, at least as of this date, correct?
Well, baka po dapat tingnan natin yung buong konteksto because under a security cluster, may pinag-uusapan po dyan. Maaaring ang tinitingnan niya na walang destabilization, there is no destabilization from the rank of men in uniforms. So hindi po natin masasabi na yun na yung kabuuan talaga.
All right. I'm showing you another recent article, Exhibit D-4-67. This article is June 12, 2026. So again, quite recent. And again, for the purpose of time, I'll just read the title. It says, Sara Duterte, I won't grab Marcos's position. My question to you is this: isn't this news article also consistent with no destabilization efforts that Claire Castro previously mentioned?
Base po sa aking binabasa, baka mas maganda po si Vice President Sara Duterte makasagot dito because she's speaking of a state of mind. Sa isip po niya yan eh.
But if you know,
Your Honor, may I comment?
What is the comment of the lead prosecutor?
The witness never said that there is destabilization. As a matter of fact, what he said during the earlier question is threat to the life of the president amounts to threat to national security. Now he is being asked about these pictures concerning the stab. This is misleading, Your Honor.
asked and answered.
The observation of the lead prosecutor is noted. It was not an objection, counsel. Proceed, counsel
All right.
for respondent.
Now, yesterday, you identified an unsigned and unnotarized document which allegedly pertains to an affidavit of Arturo Lascañas. Correct?
Yes, sir.
All right. Now, if you know, is this the same Lascañas who appeared before the Senate in 2016 and 2017?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So, in fact, this is the same Lascañas who was charged by the Senate panel led by then Senator and still Senator Panfilo Lacson with a recommendation for perjury. Is he not?
Hindi ko po nabalitaan yung kung sinerge siya ng perjury. But if it's on record, then the answer will be yes.
All right. Well, he was, or maybe we can confirm it later with Senator Judge Lacson. But, and this perjury was committed during a Senate committee hearing, if you know only.
Well, siguro po doon natin na lang ilagay doon sa affidavit po na nabasa ko.
No, the
May I
only
comment,
question
Your
is
Honor?
the
May I
perjury. If you know only that the perjury that was recommended for charging
Your
Lascañas.
I have no
Honor,
personal
I'm not yet done,
knowledge.
Your Honor.
I think,
Your Honor, the witness is incompetent to answer that
If
question.
he knows,
counsel, I
asked
think the
Your Honor.
witness already said that he's not aware of it, but that if it is on the record, then most likely it is true. That was the response of the witness earlier.
All right, I'll just move on to a new point. Now, allow me to read a statement of Senator Lacson, and then I'll ask questions thereafter.
May we request, Your Honor, that the witness be confronted with a document if I think the defense is reading from a document?
Yes, Your Honor. We will
For
provide
the
the hard
guidance of the
copy.
witness, Your Honor.
We will provide the hard copy, and then we'll also show the soft copy on the screen, Your Honor.
Assisting counsel is authorized to approach
All right. I will read.
from both parties.
I will read and I quote Senator Lacson. Ang may papayo ko lamang kay SPO3 Lascañas, kung ang layunin ng inyong quote-unquote extrajudicial confession ay mapanagot sa ilalim ng batas si Pangulong Rodrigo Duterte at iba pang personalidad, marapat lamang na maliban sa inyong salaysay, may maipakita ka pang bukod at ibang ebidensya. Kung wala, ay maaaring masayang lamang ang oras ng mga tao dito dahil baka walang kahihinatnan ang isinasagawa nating pagdinig sa araw na ito laban sa sino mang mga taong idinadawit mo. Are you aware of this statement by Senator Lacson against Lascañas?
Ngayon po, nabasa po.
You're aware
nabasa ko
now.
po.
All right. At any rate, you mentioned yesterday that you did an open source investigation to obtain the Lascañas document, correct?
That is correct po, sir.
But to be candid, was it just Google search?
Hindi po.
Are you at liberty to disclose what method you used in that open source investigation?
We were provided, dito po nagsimula yan, we got hold of a copy of the affidavit of Arturo Lascañas.
With the permission of counsel for the respondent, the chair will allow the intervention of Senator Judge Lacson given that his name was mentioned In fact, not only alluded to but mentioned by counsel for respondent. Senator Lacson is recognized to give a manifestation.
Thank you for allowing me to interject. Maski hindi naayos sa unan yung pahayag kanina. Kasi ang worry ko, pag inupuraw ako doon, interpolate ako ni Senator Lapid. So, having said that, anyway, levity aside, Mr. Presiding Officer, basahin ko lang yung portion ng committee report kasi I chaired the Committee on Public Order when we investigated the EJK. And indeed, I will confirm that Arturo Lascañas retracted and changed his testimony. No? After several hearings, nag-retract siya. But hindi po ako nag-file ng perjury. Gusto ko lang i-correct yun. Ang recommendation po sa Roman numeral number 6, recommendations, part po ito ng committee report. Ano? In view of the foregoing, the committee recommends the following. 1, amendment of the revised penal code to increase the penalty for the crime of perjury. Yun po yung context na dahil committee report ito, nagre-recommend ako na i-amend yung revised penal code, particularly sa krimen ng perjury. Pero gusto ko lang i-correct na hindi ako nag-file ng perjury. Thank you.
The manifestation is noted. Counsel for the respondent may proceed.
But you're at liberty to disclose who searched for that Lascañas document.
Ito nga po, yung pong dokumento, we got hold of it. Sabi nga po natin, meron po kami mga tinatawag na amin pong mga informants at mga source. It was provided to us. Nung ibinigay po sa amin to, hindi naman po ibig sabihin ay amin kaagad itong paniniwalaan. At tama po kayo.
Okay. That's okay. I can ask subsequent questions regarding to that. So actually my question is, after you had obtained this document, did you subpoena Lascañas to verify the contents of those documents?
Hindi po, sapagkat he is nowhere to be found.
That's enough. So without verification, you decided to believe the contents of the document that you obtained?
Again, ibabalik ko po ron sa 5 nating factors. Isinama lamang namin po ito, isa dun sa mga factors na sinasabi po natin, yung pattern of violence na tinatawag. At doon po, doon sa paragraph 270, sinasabi nga po na may kinalaman sa extrajudicial killing si dating Mayor Sara Duterte at in fact, sabi pa nga niya, huwag nyo nang barilin, kidnapin nyo na lang. Pero bago po kami dumating doon sa punto na gamitin yun, tingnan na po namin yan.
Alright. Sorry to interrupt you. So the short answer to my question is yes.
Pakiulit po yung tanong ninyo.
The question is, did you decide to believe the contents of the document without verifying it with Lascañas?
Yun nga po yung sagot po. Opo, hindi
Yes.
kaagad. Kaya po ikinikwento ko nga kung paano po namin nagamit yun.
Alright.
So hindi po kaagad namin pinaniwalaan.
Okay.
Your Honor, may I just manifest that the defense is actually misleading already the witness. He kept on raising the question, did you believe right away? When as a matter of fact, the witness is explaining...
Your Honor, I never meant, sorry.
Counsel,
with all due
kindly let the lead prosecutor finish.
The witness has been saying that he did a lot of things after receiving the affidavit of Lascañas to the extent of going over the 5 factors that he testified to yesterday. But after that first question, so that means yes. The defense said yes. To his question, did you believe to that right away, to that affidavit? The position of the witness, Your Honor, is no.
Short
Because-
rejoinder, Your Honor.
Actually, asked and answered by the witness. That is his response, counsel for respondent, to your question.
Yeah.
Move on, counsel.
Yes, Your Honor. We are satisfied with that answer. But another follow-up question. So without verifying it, sorry.
That's misleading, Your Honor.
Allow him
Mr.
to finish the question, counsel.
Just on
What
the
is the
point-
pleasure of Senator Judge Cayetano?
Just on your ruling, may be clarified because the question was, pinaniniwalaan mo ba? Ang sagot niya, hindi ka agad. So counsel was asking for yes or no. I just want to be clarified. Hindi pinaniniwalaan agad, does that mean afterwards pinaniniwalaan mo na or never mo pinaniniwalaan? Just so that the record is clear. Just that clarification.
There should be no.
Thank you, Senator Judge Cayetano. Alan, witness will please answer.
Yes, Your Honor. Kaya ko nga po ikinikwento yung buong pangyayari para po makita kung paano po kami dumating dun sa punto na ginamit po doon sa pattern of violence yung pong affidavit na ito.
So, liwanagin ko po Director Matibag.
Opo.
Hindi nyo agad pinaniwalaan nung simula, pinadaan nyo rin sa inyong SOP sa investigasyon, kalaunan, pinaniwalaan na ninyo at sa ngayon, pinapaniwalaan po ninyo yung nakasaad dun sa dokumentong yun.
Kalaunan po, ito ay ginamit na namin na isa sa basehan po doon sa pattern of violence pagkatapos po namin idaan sa proseso po.
So pinaniwalaan nyo na, pinanghawakan nyo na, kumbaga.
Sa ngayon po, tama po, Your Honor.
Okay.
And pinapaniwalaan yun without issuing a subpoena to Lascañas and clarifying the matter with him.
Asked and answered, Your Honor.
It's a different question, Your Honor. We're already at this point.
Witness may answer.
Pakiulit po.
So, you mentioned na pinapaniwalaan nyo na siya ngayon as clarified by the chair. So, are you saying that pinapaliwanaan nyo na ngayon without issuing a subpoena to Lascañas and verifying it with him?
Hindi po nag-issue ng subpoena kay Lascañas, pero meron pong naging verification process.
All right. But not with Lascañas, who is the author of that document.
As and answered po, Your Honor.
The presiding officer would like to remind the witness to kindly avoid making a ruling for and behalf of the presiding officer.
Pasensya na po, Your Honor.
But the gentleman would have been correct. The presiding officer would have said the same thing. Thank you for saving me the trouble. But try to avoid that, Director Matibag.
Sorry po, Your Honor.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank
Counsel
you.
may proceed.
All right. Director Matibag, yesterday I identified 2 videos and you related it with the alleged pattern of behavior of VP Sara, correct? The first video that you showed, I think, involved the sheriff.
Tama po.
All right. But that incident, will you confirm that that incident took place on July 1, 2011?
Yes, long time ago po.
So around 15 years ago.
Tama po.
And did you still find it relevant to use that video?
Under po dun sa 5 factors namin, ang tinitingnan po natin sa pattern of violence is the historical behavior.
All right.
Kasama po yun.
With the permission of counsel for respondent, what is the pleasure of Sen-judge Hontiveros?
If I may, Mr. Presiding Officer, before the defense moves on to a next question, just to ask a follow-up question of the previous topic.
On this matter?
On the matter of the Lascañas affidavit, Mr.
The
Presiding
lady
Officer.
may proceed with that question on Lascañas only.
Salamat po, Mr. Presiding Officer. Follow-up question, Mr. Witness. According to your testimony yesterday, you reviewed Arturo Lascañas' affidavit as part of the larger investigation concerning the Vice President's capacity to carry out the alleged threat. Sa pagkakaalam po ninyo, Director, at batay din sa larger investigation na iyon, sinagot po ba ng Vice Presidente sa anumang paraan yung mga alegasyon sa affidavit na yon ni Lascañas?
Your Honor, marami po kasi kaming, yun nga po yung gusto kong ipaliwanag, marami po kasi kaming mga i-consider na tinatawag natin po na open source intel. Yan na po yung mga news, mga report. At nung tinitingnan po namin yan, si Arturo Lascañas, meron pa po siyang lumabas na balita noon nung isinumitin niya itong affidavit na ito sa ICC. At maalala ko po, meron din po lumabas sa balita na mismong si Vice President Sara Duterte, parang sinasabi po niya roon na hindi ko kailangan ng DDS para gumawa ng kayang gawin ng DDS. Something to that effect po. Na-consider po namin lahat po yan.
Sa sinabi di umano ni Vice President, sinabi niya hindi niya kailangan ang DDS para gawin ang
yung kayang gawin ng DDS. Something
ng
like that po.
DDS.
Opo. Hindi ko po eksaktong ma-recall yung phrase na pagkakasabi po.
Salamat, Mr. Witness. I may return to that point later.
The lady
today,
may do so
Mr.
after
Presiding Officer.
the
Salamat po.
cross, redirect, and recross. When she avails for time, counsel for respondent may proceed.
All right, let's go back to the sheriff incident. I'm glad you mentioned history or historical background. Are you aware that that sheriff incident pertains to relief operations that were being conducted by the Vice President, then Mayor at that time, or Vice Mayor?
Ang pagkakaalam ko po doon sa balita na yun, itong sheriff na to is trying to enforce a valid order from a legitimate court demolition order po ito na ayaw ipatuloy po ng then Mayor and now Vice President. So,
Alright.
I might not be aware of a relief operation. Baka po paliwanag po sa akin.
Are you aware? I'll just ask you if you're aware. Are you aware that it involved a flash flood? This incident happened after a flash flood in that particular community.
Oh, hindi po lumabas siya
If you
sa
know,
balita.
if you know, all right.
I have no knowledge of that.
Are you aware that VP Sara asked that sheriff for an extension of 2 hours just to help the victims?
Yung po yung lumabas sa balita.
Alright. And this sheriff and the demolition that you mentioned involved the demolition of informal settlers in that area.
Opo, kaya po may order of eviction. Ibig sabihin po, informal settlers po yung
Are you
papalis.
aware that 30 people died during that incident?
I have no knowledge of that, Your Honor.
So in other words, are you also aware that it was the sheriff's refusal to provide the 2-hour extension? That's why VP Sara got
Well,
angry.
that is the claim of the then Mayor.
If you know only, if you know.
I have no knowledge
You
of
have no
that. Your
knowledge. All right. I'll move on to a new point. Now, you also mentioned to establish this alleged pattern of behavior, the October 18, 2024 press con, correct?
Tama po.
And this press con took place obviously before the material that you used or the November 23, 2024 press con.
Tama po.
All right. I'm showing you a video. Your Honor will just show one video. It's around 1 minute. This is Exhibit D-4-53 and the USB is separately marked as D-4-47. And then I'll ask you questions after that.
Kindly play the video. The text through the clerk of court is so directed.
Inulit ng bata, louder this time. Mr. President, can I have your watch as a graduation gift? Ang sagot niya. Why? Why will I give you my watch? At that point, sakit na ako. Wasn't feeling very well. Nandun lang ako, nakakatayo ako dun kasi may gamot ako. Gusto ko, ang galing yung ulo niya ba? I realized toxic na yung relationship. And it did not help na itong dalawang katabi ko, tumawa pa. Pinagtawanan pa nila yung bata. And I saw the humiliation sa face ng bata. I wanted to help him. Gusto ko sabihin sa kanya, itong relo ko na lang, relo ito ng Vice President, ito relo ng Presidente, pero I hope this will do. And then I realized na baka mas lalo mapahiya yung bata if I do that. So I just imagine myself cutting his head. Gusto ko ganun din ang
All right. So is this the First of all, did you watch this whole video, Director Matibag?
I've watched not the entirety of the video.
Not the entirety,
Yeah.
because it's a long video. It's
That's correct.
almost 2 hours. But my question to you is this: is this the video where you based your finding that VP Sara said, gusto kong tanggalin ang ulo niya, imagine cutting his head off? Is this the one?
Yun po.
Alright.
Yun po yung video na yan.
And will you agree with, wasn't this press con heard by the general public?
Opo.
And didn't VP Sara say her statements in jest?
Well,
Speculative, Your Honor.
Honor, the witness is smart enough and competent enough to answer.
Nevertheless, Your Honor.
Witness may answer.
well, again, I will say I cannot go into the state of mind of the Vice President, and precisely the reason why do sa pattern of violence, kasama po talaga yan yung pag i-consider natin. I understand her disgust doon sa nangyari, but probably pag pinagsama-sama po yung aming pong investigasyon, mga aming napanood, kasama po yan, doon po namin na-establish yung isa doon sa 5 factors na pattern of violence.
I understand what you're saying, but my question to you is, didn't you take VP Sara's statement out of context?
Mahirap po para sa aming law enforcement na yung ganyang mga statement ay amin pong babaliwalayin. Katunayan, alam naman po natin, kahit nga biro, alimbawa po, yung bomb joke nga po sa aeroplano, hinuhuli natin. It's a different thing if you're doing a bomb joke dyan sa aeroplano tsaka sa open field na kayo lang. So,
Alright.
sa amin po sa law enforcement, we have to give credence to that and i-process po namin.
So at any rate, you consider this portion of VP Sara's statement to be grave and serious, to be a grave and serious threat based on the standards that you mentioned yesterday?
Hindi po yun ang sinabi ko. Ang sinabi ko po, kasama siya doon sa i-consider na marami pong factors para ma-establish po ang pattern of violence.
Isn't that kind of a stretch?
It's argumentative, Your Honor.
Argumentative. Move on, counsel.
Nothing further, Your Honor. Thank you.
Salamat po, sir.
Redirect. Lead prosecutor. Any redirect?
Your Honor, may I request for a 5-minute break?
Instead of granting the break, Chair will open the floor for the interjections and interventions of some of the senator judges. You have your 5 minutes, counsel. Senator Judge Erwin Tulfo, thereafter Senator Judge Lacson, thereafter Senator Judge Raffy Tulfo, and hopefully Senator Judges Villanueva and Pangilinan. That might be in excess of 5 minutes already. We will just...
Your Honor.
We're making the most out of the 5 minutes. Yes, counsel. For
Just one manifestation, Your Honor, regarding,
Yes, counsel.
regarding the interpellation of the good Senator Hontiveros. We just want to step for the record, Your Honor, that insofar as the Lascañas affidavit, the Vice President was never given an opportunity to respond to it.
Formally.
Formally.
Noted, Senator
And-
Judge. Yes, counsel. Counsel for the respondent, anything additional?
And the VP was also not made to answer to the what's this? And it was not part of the impeachment complaint, Your Honor. For the record.
Noted. Noted. Senator Judge Erwin Tulfo, you have 2 minutes, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Presiding Officer. Sa ating pong testigo, kahapon po nabanggit ho ninyo na meron na po kayong persons of interest na umano'y kinausap na po ng VP Vice President Sara Duterte para patayin umano ang Pangulo, First Lady at former Speaker of the House. Ang tanong ko po, paano pala ho ninyo ito natalisod o natunto ng impormasyong ito? Gayong sa kanya pong press con, wala naman pong siyang sinabi kung sino mga taong ito. Sinabi niya lang na may kinausap na ho siya. How did you find out?
Ganito po yan, sa lahat naman po ng kaso na hinahawakan po ng National Bureau of Investigation para po maging successful yung aming pag-iimbestiga, ay nagre-rely po kami sa iba't ibang intelligence report. Yun nga po, may tinatag tayong open source intel, human intelligence, and we also use tools to monitor things. At titrim down po tayo niyan, tinitingnan po natin hanggang dumating tayo doon sa punto na mayroon pong resolusyon yung ating pong kasong tinitingnan. With regards to po sa persons of interest, yung prosesong din yan po ang atin pong sinundan.
Okay. Without mentioning po kung sino itong mga tao na ito or yung pagkakilala nila, kung nasaan sila, maaari po ba ninyong bigyan kami ng ideya itong mga persons of interest na ito? Kung ano po talaga ang trabaho nila, kung sila po ba talaga yung mga hitman o mga gun for hire o riding in tandem, ano ho ang klaseng trabaho meron itong mga ito?
Well, siguro po ganito, although I cannot reveal so much and the identity, but going to the process na sinasabi ko nga po, so we're using informants. May mga sinusundan po tayo. Ang una-una ating pong tinignan dyan, yun nga pong sinabi na kumausap ng papatay at yung pong papatay ay pumayag na. So, ano pong ginawa natin dito? Tinignan na natin kung saan spear po papasok, sino ba yung pwede, saan ba pwedeng nanggaling yon? Hindi kagad sino, saan po ba pwedeng nanggaling yon? At lumalabas po rito, alam natin yung kasaysayan, malawak po ang kanyang tinatawag na connection, yung network po. Alam naman natin na siya Vice Presidente at ang dating Pangulo ay kanyang ama. Ibig sabihin, nakadevelop po ito ng mga relasyon. Unang-una na sa mga men in uniform na hanggang sa ngayon, marami po rito na na-appoint pa niya nung panahon na sila ay nandiyan. Nandiyan din po, binanggit ko yung Vice President Sara sa security group at yung pong mga double death squad. So tinignan po natin at tinignan by process of elimination yung mga tao po na maaaring dun nang galing or maaaring nakakaalam. And by process of elimination, nag-start po kami maraming individuals hanggang sa matrim down po namin ng matrim down hanggang sa ngayon. Kaya sinabi ko po kahapon sa kagalang-galang sa katanungan ng ating Senate President po, gaano ba katagal pa to? And I said, we have great progress. Dahil lang simula po kami sa marami ngayon na trim down na po namin sa iilan na personalidad po.
Okay, panghuli ang pangalawa sa huling katanungan ko po, Ginoong Testigo, ay ito pong threat na ito po hanggang ngayon ay continuing threat po ito or pwedeng i-execute anytime ng mga sinasabi ninyong persons of interest?
Yun na po yung atin pong pangamba na nakikita. Because hindi po natin nakukuha. Sigurado po tayo na may kinausap at pumayag, subalit yung pagkakakilanlan ng taong kinausap ay hindi pa rin po natin nakukuha. So ibig sabihin po, yung threat po na ito sa Pangulo is a continuing and active threat po and serious. So yun po yung gusto nating i-address dito.
Panguling katanungan na lamang, Mr. Witness, naimporma na po ba ang Pangulo at ang kanyang PSG para alam ho nilang kanilang gagawin at hindi po sila malingat sa kanilang seguridad?
Meron po kaming tuloy-tuloy na pakikipag-ugnayan sa ating sa palasyo po. I will not mention who exactly yung mga kausap po namin doon, but there's always continuing threat assessment po na ginagawa po kami.
Thank you, Mr. Witness. Presiding Officer, thank you.
Thank you, Senator Judge Erwin Tulfo. Senator Judge Lacson. Thereafter, we will recognize first, with the indulgence of Senator Judge Raffy Tulfo, the lead prosecutor for her manifestation. As I understand, she asked for time for a huddle to determine whether she will still conduct redirect. So, Senator Judge Lacson is recognized. You have 2 minutes, sir.
Thank you, Sir Presiding Officer. Follow-up lang ito doon sa mga points raised by Senator Judge Raffy Tulfo kahapon relating to 3 similar cases. Ronald Mas, Mayor Baste Duterte, saka VP Sara. Hindi ko na bibelabor yung Ronald Mas and Mayor Baste kasi aware naman ako doon sa Rule 113 Section 5, yung sa warrantless arrest, na hindi pwedeng apply. Nagkamali nga yung NBI kay Ronald Mas kaya na-dismiss yung case, di po ba? But I'm more interested in the cases of Mayor Baste at saka kay VP Sara. Kasi almost similar yung kanilang mga sinabi, pero I'm just wondering why you did not investigate Mayor Baste, pero si Mayor Sara, hindi lang kayo nag-investigate, nag-repair pa kayo ng complaint sa DOJ, hindi po ba?
Yun po yung amin pong ginawang investigasyon ay doon na po sa threat na sinasabi namin na pangkalawakan. Yung dito po kay Mayor Baste, kaya hindi po natin na inimbestigahan, isinasama po namin dito sa task force na ito to come out with the report eventually, but we have coordination also po with other agencies.
Yes. So walang ongoing law enforcement investigation against Mayor Baste?
Kasama po dito sa po namin sa special task force po.
Yung bang special task force, and this was this was also raised by the presiding officer nung nasa lounge kami kanina, na-form ba ito in relation to or in reference to the case of Mayor Baste o kay Vice President Sara?
Yung pong trigger point na nangyari dito ay yung pong kay Mayor Baste po. But prior to that, we are continually monitoring the threat. Kasama po sa aming pag-uusap yan. In fact, yung pong aming reporting ng records as early as nung nag-assume po ako ng February, mga first week pa lang po ng March, kasama na po sa reporting yung mga threat assessment. But nung napansin po namin na itong rage rally na to can escalate to a bigger threat to the national security, dun po namin ipinasok ito.
So mas ang ginamit nyo yung kay Mayor Baste as an open source? kesa sa mag-file kayo ng criminal complaint against Mayor Baste?
Ganun po yung naging process namin dito. But eventually, we have an agreement within us that if we can establish that the elements for grave threat will be there, we will be contemplating also on filing a grave threat and inciting to sedition as well.
Pero halos pareho eh. Kaya iniisip ko, baka meron double standard. Bakit kayo nag-focus kay Vice President pero hindi nyo in-apply kay Mayor Baste? Halos pareho sinabi nila eh, na maliwanag naman, bukod doon sa January 2026, na ulit pa ng April 12, di ba? Na sinabing Romanov, threat against the first family, nasundan pa ng pupugot, ang kailangan lang namin yung ulo. So pero kay Vice President, halos ganun din eh. Pero bakit inimbestigahan nyo kay Vice President Sara at na-refer nyo na sa DOJ for PI, pero yung kay Mayor Baste parang unlevel, nasa law enforcement investigation pa rin?
Sapagkat ang isa pong dinedevelop namin dito na jury po is yung sabwatan. And alam po natin, if we go to court using the theory of conspiracy, medyo mas mahirap po na ipasok na kaso. Kaya it taking much time to develop the case po.
May request for additional time, Mr. Presiding Officer. Punta lang ko kay Lascañas.
Opo.
Okay. Yung kay Lascañas, ginamit nyo yung kanyang affidavit na sinabit sa ICC.
Tama po.
Parang pang-open source.
Tama
Not for
po, sir.
anything, di ba?
Not for anything po.
So
yes,
walang
sir.
evidentiary value ito?
Yun po ay ang basehan namin, kaya po namin iprinisinta. Isa po sa naging basehan namin doon po sa, isa nga doon sa 5 standards po natin na pattern of violence po.
Pero wala kayong intention na kung magpapile kayo ng kaso, isasabit yung affidavit niya na sinabit sa ICC?
As a matter of preference lang po for the purposes of establishing the pattern of violence. But to directly papanagutin po sa isang criminal or what, sa palagay ko po, baka po hindi ito tatanggapin ng korte po.
Yeah, kasi kung open source, hindi nga tatanggapin ng korte.
Tama po.
Kasi kung open source, kung nag-extend pa kayo, in-expand nyo yung open source information gathering, dapat sana nireview nyo rin yung aming committee hearing dito. No? Yung na-mention kanina ng defense, na initially, deny talaga si Arturo Lascañas tungkol sa DDS, EJK, etc. Eventually, nag-retract siya talagang 180 degrees. No? Sinabi niya, totoo yung EJK. Hindi ba dapat part din nyo ng open source information gathering ninyo?
Tama po. Actually, nung binasa po namin yung affidavit, may isang paragraph doon na nagtukoy nga dyan na nag-testify as binawi. Ang sinundan na po namin dito, at naalala ko po, meron kasing new report do sa 24 oras after ng pre-trial po sa ICC, nagkaroon po ng interview kay Lascañas kung saan sinasabi niya yung affidavit na ginawa niya na isinabit sa ICC, at nung kinukumpara po namin doon sa sinasabi niya, lumalabas na yun po.
Pangatlo na po yun.
So,
alam nyo, iba yung affidavit niya, yung kanyang testimony sa Public Order and Legal Drugs Committee, which as I said earlier, I chaired. No? Kaya alam ko yung familiar ako. Then after that, nag-retract siya. Talagang complete turnaround.
Tama po.
So I even consulted a retired justice na kaibigan ko, ano bang mas patimbang dito? Ang sabi niya, talagang jurisprudence, yung original na statement ang mananaig kesa doon sa parang binaliktad na statement, which I also agreed. Ang point ko lang is, bakit parang namili lang kayo ng open source?
Tiningnan po
Kung
namin.
tiningnan nyo yung sa ICC na sabit na pagkahaba-haba, sa akin nga po sinabi kanina, pangatlo na po yung magkaibang affidavits ni Arturo Lascañas. May nauna, may pangalawa, pangatlo na po itong pinapakita sa screen kahapon.
Tama po, and we are also aware dun sa pagbali-baliktad, but on the news that I was mentioning po, Your Honor, mismong sinabi niya, pipirmahan yung affidavit, at sinabi po niya, this is 186 pages. So nang tinitingnan po namin, yung statement na yan, tumugma, at pangalawa, it's been the subject already of an ICC, it's being used as an evidence, at least there is a legitimate court that looking into it, which it was considered na ibig sabihin, tinanggap po ng isang lehitimo na korte po.
Yeah, I'm not trying to put you on this spot. I'm just trying to be fair, no?
Opo.
Kasi gusto ko talagang maliwanagan para pagdating ng takdang oras, alam ko yung aking boto.
Tama
Maraming
po.
salamat po.
Salamat
Thank you,
po.
Senator Judge Lacson. Before the chair recognizes Senator Judge Raffy Tulfo, Senator Judge Aquino, and Senator Judge Padilla, chair will not. Sorry, I forgot about you, Senator Judge Pangilinan, before Senator Judge Bam. Chair would like to call on the lead prosecutor again. Thank you for the sequence.
Thank you,
Yes,
Your Honor.
what is the pleasure of the lead prosecutor? Shall you conduct redirect?
Your Honor, the prosecution believes that we have sufficiently established that the threat to the President constitutes
Objection, Your Honor.
threat to the national
Again, Your
security.
Honor, inconsistent.
Counsel, you are once again reminded to kindly avoid
Yes, Your Honor.
conclusions of law. The question was simple, so I guess you will not conduct any further redirect.
Nonetheless, Your Honor, there are some manifestations that I would like to make.
As long as these are not conclusions of fact and law, Counsel, as
Yes,
you have
Your
been reminded and guided accordingly. You may proceed.
It is the position, Your Honor, of the prosecution that we have established
Objection,
already.
Your Honor. Again, this is a conclusion of fact and law, Your Honor.
Counsel, the counsel for respondent is correct. I will give the same limitation to whatever manifestations he will make in this regard. Let me do it for you. I guess you're not conducting any redirect anymore because you're
I have another
satisfied
manifestation, Your Honor.
and you're contented with the witness given, with the testimony rather given by the witness you presented. What is your second manifestation?
Nais ko
Prosecutor?
lamang pong liwanagin, Your Honor, kaugnay ng affidavit ni Arturo Lascañas. Ito po ay ipresenta ng prosecution bilang bahagi ng testimonya ng witness, kagaya na po ng sinabi ng presiding officer ng 3 ulit, pinayagang ipresenta ang affidavit ni Lascañas bilang bahagi ng testimonya at bilang bahagi ng naging investigation ng Special Task Force ng National Bureau of Investigation. It was never claimed by the prosecution that this affidavit is notarized. Kailanman po ay hindi sinabi ng prosecution na notarized ang dokumentong ito. Ito po'y ipresenta bilang bahagi lamang ng testimonya ng witness at bilang bahagi din ng investigation ng NBI. To conclude, Your Honor.
Short rejoinder on that, Your Honor.
The lead prosecutor is not yet finished.
To conclude, Your Honor, the prosecution finds it unnecessary.
Objection, Your Honor. Same ground.
Allow the lead prosecutor to finish.
The prosecution finds it unnecessary to conduct redirect examination.
Thank you, counsel. Duly noted. Do you still want a rejoinder?
Just a
counsel,
short
for
rejoinder on the Lascañas
Yes, counsel.
issue. Again, Your Honor, according to the rules, an affidavit must be testified to and identified by the person or the author of that affidavit. And in this case, such was not done. So, and an additional manifestation, Your Honor, that considering that it is unsigned and unnotarized, the law considers it as a mere scrap of paper. That's just a manifestation. And
Then let instead of letting this be an ongoing argument between both counsels, let the chair state.
Your
for
Honor,
the-
may I just correct the manifestation
No
of the
need,
defense?
counsel. Let the chair state for the 4th time. The affidavit of Lascañas was not offered as an authentic document executed by the affiant. Only that it was part of the documents used by Director Matibag in his open source investigation, as also clarified for the 5th time, if I will count it, by Senator Judge Lacson, that it was only part of the investigation of the NBI through what is called an open source investigation. Again, to reiterate, not as proof that of its authenticity and the truth of the contents contained in the affidavit or document purporting to be executed by Lascañas.
And that it is signed, Your Honor.
Let that be the end of it, counsels, if you may. And we can proceed to the interventions and interjections of senator judges. Forgive my inadvertence earlier. Chair will recognize in this order, in the order that they indicated to the chair, as pointed out by the clerk of court, Senator Judge Raffy Tulfo, Senator Judge Villanueva, Senator Judge Pangilinan, Senator Judge Aquino, and Senator Judge Padilla as of now. Senator Judge Raffy Tulfo is recognized for his interventions. You may proceed, sir, when you are ready. You have 2 minutes.
Mr. Witness, kahapon naitanong ko sa inyo yung kaso ni Ronel Mas. Ngayon, tatanong ko sa inyo, familiar ho ba kayo sa kaso ni Ronald Kibuyen, Maria Catherine Seron, and Joe Mark Ebcay?
Narinig ko po sila.
Ano po yung pagkakarinig mo sa kaso?
Sila po ay inaresto ng PNP, CIDG. Yung isa po sa, I think it's an Osamis dahil meron siyang nagsabi na patayin si dating Pangulong Duterte at nag-offer ng 100 million na reward. Yung naman pong ubayan sa Boracay ata, may offer din. I'm not mistaken, 150 million po yata na reward.
So, itong tatlo po, sa pagkakalam niyo, ano mga trabaho nito?
Yung isa po, construction worker, hindi ko po maalala yung isang tao po.
Yung isa ay unemployed college graduate.
Ayun.
So, the reason why I asked that, kasi tulad ni Ronel Mas, isang teacher, at itong tatlo, mga ordinary mamayan, i-compare natin dun sa ginawa ni VP Sara at saka ni Mayor Baste sa ating Pangulo, pagbabanta, almost the same yung nangyari. So, kamay na bakal ang pinairal. Kapag mga ordinaryong mahirap na mamayan, ang pinapairal ninyo dyan sa law enforcement. Pero kapag makapangyari ang mga tao, you treat them with kids' gloves. Why is that?
Respectfully po, Your Honor, unang-una, I cannot speak to the behavior of the law enforcement at that time. But I agree with you na yung pag-aresto po sa kanila is warrantless arrest. That's the reason why na-dismiss po lahat ng kaso na yon. Yung sa ngayon naman po, yung mga pangyayari na ito, we go to the case build up and file a case katulad po nung nangyari kay Vice Presidente, meron pong nakapending ngayon na kaso. At kung ito po ay may file sa korte, that is the time that the court will issue a warrant of arrest. So meron po tayong prosesong sinusunod po.
Mali nga yung pagka-aresto, actually, warrantless arrest yung nangyari noon. Pero meron bang nag-utos why it was done by the law enforcement people at that time? And what's the difference between the law enforcement back then and the law enforcement people now?
Well, I can only speak po for my bureau na NBI. We are making sure that we are following the process and the law. In any case, wala pong malaki o maliit na kaso. Ang tinitingnan po lagi natin dito ay ang ebidensya, ang batas at ang prosesong dapat pong sundin.
Okay. I'll give you an example. Halimbawa, yung nangyari ngayon na pagbabanta sa ating Pangulo, nangyari noon sa panahon ni Pangulong Duterte at nagbanta si Leni Robredo. Halimbawa lang, of course, Leni Robredo would not do that kasi I know, wala sa karakter niya. Nagbanta si Leni Robredo kay Pangulong Duterte at matindi yung outburst niya at pagbabanta. At ganun din naggagawa ng follow-up ang kanyang anak. What would have happened? Sa tingin niyo ba, possible na merong gagawang pag-aaresto si PRD tulad ng ginawang pag-aaresto doon sa mga teachers, sa teacher, construction worker, at unemployed college graduate?
Well, respectfully, it's calling for an opinion but siguro meron po akong pwedeng pagbasihan. Base na rin po sa inyong sinasabi na construction worker, teacher, ay inaresto dahil sa banta. Posible po. May possibility na baka arestuhin po kaagad ang Vice Presidente noon.
Thank you, Mr. Witness.
Thank you, Senator Judge Raffy Tulfo. Senator Judge Villanueva may proceed with his interjection when he's ready. You have 2 minutes, sir.
Thank you, Presiding Officer, Mr. President. Just two quick questions to our dear witness. Your Honor, malaking bahagi po, Director Matibag, nung sa talakayan dito sa korte at ng buong sambayanan, whether or not natukoy na ba yung sinasabing alleged tinutukoy ng pangalawang Pangulo doon po sa kanyang video. At binanggit niyo po na may inaasahan po kayong development sa loob ng 3 hanggang 6 na buwan. Maaari po ba niyong paliwanag, Director, sa pangkalahatan lamang po kung ano po yung layunin ng mga natitira pang bahagi sa investigasyon po ninyo? Just to clarify lang po, no? Kasi when you testified that the individual's identity will become clearer, does it mean, sir, that the Bureau is now focused on confirming or verifying the identity of a particular individual referred to by the respondent rather than determining whether such person exists in the first place. Kumbaga po, yung tanong lamang po dito, sinasagot po ay sino na yung kinontrata rather than hindi po yung meron nga bang kinontrata.
Your Honor, dalawang bagay po para makarating po tayo dun sa kasagutan sa inyo pong katanungan. Una, sinabi ko nga po with certainty, meron kinontrata. Ano po yung basihan? Mismong ang Vice Presidente na publicly, it is an extrajudicial admission na tinanggap na niya at sinabi na niya na meron akong kinausap na mag-assassin o mamamatay tao para patayin ang Presidente at siya ay pumayag. So that is an admission na meron po. Pangalawa, bakit po natin tinutukoy, tinahanap? Dito na po pumapasok yung kailangan natin siyang makuha, hindi upang sabihin na kami talaga ay nag-usap ni Vice Presidente. Kasi yun naman pong sinasabi ko nga, yung pag-uusap na may papatay at hindi naman nagawa, wala naman po tayong pinag-uusapan na krimen doon. Pero ano po ba ang tinutugunan namin sa paghahanap namin sa tao na yon, sa individual na yon? Yun na po yung sinasabi namin that we have to address the issue of national security, the safety of the President, which is a primary mandate of the National Bureau of Investigation. So pagkat ang banta po sa Pangulo, kapag ito ay seryoso tulad po nitong banta na ito, ito rin po ay magdadaos ng ligalig, kaguluhan, at disrespect po sa ating law and order. And that is the very purpose of the existence of the National Bureau of Investigation.
Yung binanggit nyo na may mga persons of interest, so yun nga po, no? Tinutumbok na po nito na nandun na po kaya kayo dun sa sino ang kinontrata rather than meron nga bang kinontrata.
Tama po, Your Honor.
Thank you, Director Matibag. Nabanggit niyo po kahapon din yung parte ng network ng respondent na tinatawag na Davao Death Squad. Batay po ito dun sa ebidensyang nakalap po ninyo, sabi niyo sa NBI, at meron po kayong nakikitang impormasyon na nagsasabi gusto kong malaman kung meron po kayong nakikitang impormasyon na nagsasabi na aktibo pa rin po ba ito noong 2024 kaya naging part ito ng inyong assessment sa kapasidad ng respondent?
Sa amin po investigasyon lumalabas na meron pa pong mga existing. At katunayan, without naming names, ganito po, ilagay na natin sa konteksto na nagsimula po kami sa maraming pangalan and we narrowed it down. Siguro ito na inaantay ng marami rin na finally ma-identify natin. We are narrowing it down already to less than 20 individuals at may mga pangalan na po kami nito. Sa katunayan po, yung iba po rito, kausap na po namin yung kanilang mga pamilya o kakilala. So, ganun po yung proseso. That's why sinabi ko, baka in 3 to 6 months, we can finally identify kung sino yung personalidad na yun po.
Let me wind up, Mr. Presiding Officer. In relation again to the Davao Death Squad that we were talking about, aktibo pa po ba sila noong 204? Aktibo pa rin po ba sila sa kasalukuyan sa inyong nagpapatuloy na investigasyon? Tinatanong po natin ito, Ginoong Pangulo, para malaman natin kung yung ginamit po ng National Bureau of Investigation ay base lamang dun sa historical background na binabanggit po kahapon o meron po na nakalap na mga bagong impormasyon ang NBI na hiwalay na impormasyon tungkol po dito?
Well, again, kanina po tinanong po ng kagalang-galang Senator Erwin Tulfo, we are not limiting it to the Davao Death Squad. Sabi ko nga po, meron pong mga aktibo pa sa serbisyo na men in uniforms at kasama rin po dito ang Vice President Sara Security Group po.
So even those who are actively involved right now, men in uniform, is that what you're saying?
That is something that I can say because general naman, it will not go to the identity.
Yeah, that will be all, Mr. Presiding Officer. Thank you, Director
Salamat
Matibag.
po.
Salamat po.
Thank you, Senator Judge Villanueva. Senator Judge Aquino is recognized. You may proceed, sir, when you're ready. You have 2 minutes.
Maraming salamat, Mr. Presiding Officer. Isang tanong lang po kay Director Matibag. Doon po sa AO11, nakalagay po doon yung mga miyembro ng task force, no? At yung isang miyembro po doon ay mula sa Transnational Crime Division.
Opo.
Nabanggit niyo po nung isang araw na nasa punto na po kayo sa inyong investigasyon na chine-check po ninyo kung hindi lang ito isang tao pero kumbaga grupo na po ito or may plot, may ploy, may nagkukuntsaba para dito po sa posibleng pagpatay kay President Marcos. So nagtataka lang po ako sa EO11 kasama yung Transnational Crime Division. So my question is, sa inyo pong investigasyon, meron bang transnational nature itong posibleng pagpatay sa presidente? Meron bang foreign intervention or mga players na hindi po Pilipino sa inyo pong investigasyon?
Yan po ay isang sa purpose talaga kung bakit namin isinama para alamin kung sino po. Alam naman po natin, para patayin ng isang presidente, hindi po isa o dalawang tao lang nag-uusap dito. You need yung kakayahan mo, yung capacity, doon po pumapasok. Kailangan ng pera, kailangan ng network, kailangan ng tao. So tinitingnan po natin ito lahat. Ngayon yung binabanggit po ninyo, kasama po sa ating tinitingnan yan. Pero ang isa pong mayoryang rason yan, yung pong mga pagbabiyahe ng ating Pangulo, we have to also monitor it because the possibility of endangering the life of the President during his time that is outside of the country, nandoon din po yan dahil sa threat.
So kaklaruhin ko lang So yung pagkakaroon ng Transnational Crime Division, dahil yan sa mga biyahe ng Presidente, hindi dahil merong possible foreign intervention dito sa iniimbestigahan yung pagpaplano?
That is also an angle being considered but that's not the main reason po.
Alright, salamat.
Salamat po.
Thank you, Senator Judge Aquino. Senator Judge Padilla is recognized. You may proceed, sir, when you're ready. You have 2 minutes.
Maraming salamat po aming ginoong tagapamahalang hukom at sa atin pong ginoong Pangulo. Meron po akong katanungan para sa prosecution. Sa akin pong mga kaibigan sa prosecution. Napakahalaga po sa bawat pagdinig ay yung nagsasabi ng katotohanan. Tama po ba?
Tama po.
Opo. Pagka ang isang witness po ay naging halimbawa ng paiba-iba ang sinasabi, ano pong tawag dito? Di ba po kasinungalingan?
This is a hypothetical question,
Apo.
Your Honor. You are not referring to any particular witness?
Si Lascañas po. Yung inyo pong pinakitang affidavit,
Your Honor?
alam niyo po, hindi pa po ako tapos, kaibigan. Alam niyo po, napakalungkot po para sa amin na marinig na merong kayong ibinigay na affidavit na nabahiran dito po sa loob ng Senado. Dito sa plenaryo ng Senado ay nabahiran ng matinding masasabi nating kasinungalingan sapagkat magkaiba ang kanyang sinabi. October 3, 2016, sinabi niya walang kinalaman ang Pangulong Rodrigo Roa Duterte. February 20, March 6, na iba na ang istorya. Ang tanong ko po, ano ang tawag sa taong paiba-iba ang sinasabi? Di ba po sinungaling?
May I answer, Your Honor?
Opo.
Kagaya po ng aking binigyang linaw kanina at paulit-ulit na rin pong sinabi ng ating presiding officer.
Pakisagot na lang po kasi yun lang po ang tanong. Tama po ba o mali na tawaging sinungaling ang taong iba-iba ang sinasabi?
I'm sorry, Your Honor, but I need to qualify my answer.
Mr. Presiding Officer, isang simpleng tanong lang po.
The lead prosecutor may agree or disagree or state a different characterization. I can state a different characterization if I'm asked by the good Senator Judge. You may disagree or agree with the
Your
statement
Honor.
of the Honorable Senator Judge Padilla. Feel free to say no or yes, Counsel.
Kagalang-galang ng mga senator judges at sa atin pong mga nanonood na kababayan. Dahil binanggit po ng kagalang-galang na Senador Robin Padilla ang pangalan at ang affidavit ni Arturo Lascañas, nais ko pong linawin ang kanina ko pong manifestasyon. Ito po ay ipresenta sa impeachment court bilang bahagi ng testimonya ng witness.
Hindi pa din po sinasagot ang...
Lead prosecutor, the response, it's not responsive to the question of Senator Judge Padilla. Allow me to, if the good Senator Judge will allow the presiding officer, pwede ba nating sabihin, lead prosecutor, na ang testigong pabago-bago ang kanyang testimonya sa magkakaibang petsa o araw o panahon ay isang testigong hindi maaasahan?
Without particular reference to Arturo
Sa
Lascañas,
pangkalahatan,
I agree with you, Honorable Presiding Officer.
Posible nagsisinungaling siya sa isa, nagsasabi ng totoo sa isa, o nagsisinungaling sa isa, nagsasabi ng totoo sa isa, hindi na natin malalaman yun. Tama po ba yan?
Without particular reference to Arturo Lascañas, I agree with you, Honorable Presiding Officer.
Thank you.
Maraming salamat po, aming ginoong
You may proceed,
tagapamahalang hukom.
Senator Judge Padilla.
Opo. Kasi po, katulad po ng sinabi ng aming Senator Judge, 10,000 hours, Pampilo Lacson, napakaliwanag po ng sinabi niya. At kami din po dito, ako po mismo ay gumawa din ng panukala na dapat yung mga nagsisinungaling dito, yung mga paiba-iba ng testimony na nagiging aming mga witness, ay dagdagan dapat ang sintensya ng perjury. Kailangan amendahan ang batas na yan. Ngayon, bilang pakiusap po sa inyo, sa prosecution, pwede po ba na sana ay maiwasan natin ang pagbibigay ng witness na may kasong perjury? Hindi na po ito si Lascañas. Ang sinasabi ko po ay yung dalawang mahal nating witness, si Atty. Jeremy Lotok at si NBI Agent Talilong, na sa mga oras na ito ay may kasong hinaharap na perjury. Pwede po bang iwasan natin na may mga ganito tayong witness para ang nasasakdal po kasi dito ay ibinoto ng 32 million na tao. Sana po, aming mga mahal na kaibigan sa prosecution, ay isipin nating mabuti bago po tayo magbigay ng mga witness na may perjury na kaso o nagkaroon po kami ng dahilan na gumawa ng amenda na itong perjury ay amendahan. Pwede po ba yun?
Your Honor, with all due respect, I would like to take exception to the question and manifestation of the Honorable Senator Judge Robin Padilla. First of all, we were able to verify already that there are no cases pending against the prosecution witnesses. In addition, Your Honor, and only to respond to the concern of the Honorable Senator Judge Padilla, ang conviction po ay hindi ground for disqualification unless it is final and unless it is punishable by more than 1 year and that the crime constitutes moral turpitude.
Alam niyo po, napakaganda po ng inyong sagot. Sana hindi one-sided ang ating persecution. Ano? Kasi, alam niyo, pag kayo ang pagpabor sa inyo, alam niyo, bawal po ang ginagawa.
Kindly maintain
Presiding
order
Officer,
within the
bawal
court.
po ang ginagawa nitong nasa harap natin, nagkukomento.
Kindly maintain order in the court. The Sergeant-at-Arms, by authority of the Senate President, is directed to kindly maintain
Hindi po
order in the
sila
court.
allowed. Mag-ingay. Korte po ito.
Thank you. You may proceed, Senator Judge. Who was speaking?
Ako po.
You may proceed, Senator Judge.
I was
Padilla.
interrupted.
With due apologies.
So, ibig niyo pong sabihin, yung mga senator judges dito ngayon na humaharap sa kaso, na hindi po pinapayagan ng ombudsman at hindi pa rin sila guilty, ano pong ibig niyo sabihin?
Your Honor, with all due respect, ang question niyo po kanina ay kaugnay ng pagtistigo.
Testigo nga,
Referring to
judges
the
nga yung
witnesses of
sinasabi
the prosecution, Your Honor.
Ang usapan po ay yung guilty or not guilty. Okay? So, tatanong na po ako ng bago. Pwede po ba?
May I be clarified, Your Honor, on your last question about the senator you said are facing cases?
Lead counsel, I think that was
Alam
more
niyo
of
po, malinaw na po yung sinabi ko and wala po kayong karapatan magtanong
Hindi,
sa Senator Judge.
diliwanagin ko nga po. I think Senator Judge Padilla was making a manifestation and not posing a question to the lead prosecutor in relation to our two colleagues. You may proceed, Senator Judge Padilla.
Maraming salamat po, Ginoong tagapamahalang hukom. Pwede na po ba tayong mag-advance ng katanungan?
Yes, Your Honor.
Apo. Yung pong sinasabi ninyo, bakit nyo po nababanggit ang ICC dito? Ano po ang kinalaman ng ICC dito sa ating pagdinig?
With all due respect, Honorable Senator Judge Robin Padilla, kagaya po ng nabanggit ko na at marahil panglima ng banggit ng presiding officer, nabanggit po ang ICC, kaugnay ng affidavit ni Lascañas na ipirinisinta po ng prosecution bilang bahagi lamang ng testimonya ng witness at bilang bahagi ng naging investigasyon ng Special Task Force ng NBI.
Maraming salamat po.
Senator Judge Padilla will please wind up. You can
Opo.
avail of a second round if you wish.
Opo. Maraming salamat po. So, ibig pong sabihin, malinaw na kanina sinabi natin
What
na
is the
hindi
pleasure
siya...
of, with the permission of Senator Judge and indulgence of Senator Judge Padilla, what is the pleasure of Senator Judge Raffy Tulfo?
Walang mic. Kay Senator Padilla. Bakit pag sa kabila pinapayagan sila 5-10 minutes? Bakit pag sa amin, sa majority, kinakat agad ni remind pagdating ng 2 minutes? I think nakakalata na kami. So dapat pag sinabing 2 minutes, 2 minutes. Pag sa amin sa majority, pag 2 minutes, pinipindot nito. 2-3 beses. Totoo yan. Pero pag sa minority, umabot na ng 5 minutes, 10 minutes. At meron akong record yan. Pinapayagan. Why? Thank you.
The comments of Senator Judge Raffy Tulfo is recognized. However, the chair would like to point out that in the impeachment court, there is no majority nor minority. We are all senator judges. And Senator Lacson earlier requested also an additional time to finish his point, which the chair allowed. That's why the chair reminded Senator Judge Padilla to wind up because his time already lapsed.
Kaya nga, Mr. Presiding Officer, I'm sorry, I do have a lot of respect in you. Yung sa akin lang, kahit na sino senador, kapag dating na ng 2 minutes, pinipindutan ng bell eh. Ako ilang beses na ako nang pindutan ng bell. Nakakairita eh. Samantalang yung iba, hindi pinipindutan ng bell, umabot pa ng 5 minutes. I'm not referring to anybody here now. Yun lang yun eh. Kaya nga kuminsan, binubulungan ko na nun dyan eh. Oy, pindutin mo na yung bell. Para naman makapagsalita yung iba. Yun lang po. Wala na akong tinutukoy dito. Dapat maging fair tayo yung sa nagpipindot ng bell. Pag sinabing 2 minutes regardless kahit na sinong senador yan. Thank you.
The clerk of court is instructed to kindly relate to the bell ringer to kindly be consistent in doing the polite reminder to the senator judges with respect to the time allotted. Senator Judge
Yes.
Cayetano Alan.
No, I take the comments of Senator Tulfo in order. I respect your opinion, but just to put on record, as you said, Senator Lacson a while ago asked for more time, binigay. Walang bell yon. Yesterday, 2 bell sa akin. 2 o 3?
Dalawa lang ang bilang ko.
2 lang bilang mo. And maybe the solution is that after the first, isang bell na lang, pero kasi from the start of the impeachment trial, we asked the presiding officer at sabi mo nga, liberality, because then if we can't ask questions, baka magkaroon ng motion or mas lalong tatagal. Maybe, you've been doing it naman, but yun nga, yung just ask to wrap up. But konting, we all want to get back to work. There's so much that we want to do. At least, wala ngang majority-minority, but at least wala ngang threat ng kaso sa majority. Kami magsalita dito, parang may sword sa aming nakatutok. So, konting pagbibigay din sa amin ng konting liberality din sa pagtatanong. Yes. But in accordance with the rules, tama naman po yung sinabi ni Senator Tulfo.
The presiding officer shall take in advisement the points raised by Senator Judge Raffy Tulfo as well as the point raised by Senator Judge Allen. And in that spirit, kindly wind up, Senator Judge Padilla.
Ginoong tagapamahalang hukom, nais lamang pong sagutin ang ating kaibigan na si Senator Raffy Tulfo. Sandali lang po. Kaibigan, mas mahaba kasi yung sagot ng ating prosecution. Ako po ay nagtatanong lamang ng oo ba o hindi. Opo. Pasensya na po. Opo.
Kindly wind up, Senator Judge Padilla, but you're gonna bail of the second round if there is one.
Tatalon na po ako. Dito na po ako sa aking kaibigan. Maraming salamat po, kaibigan. Opo. Sa akin pong kaibigan, kay Atty. Matibag, mahal na saksi. Mabilis lang po ito. Ako po ay napunta sa PDP laban dahil po sa inyo.
Tama po.
Opo. Kayo po ang kumimbinsi sa akin.
Tama po. Campaign manager nyo pa po.
Opo. At masasabi po natin na isa kayo sa nagpa-number 1 po sa akin.
Tama po. Sa lugar po namin, number 1 po kayo.
Opo. Atty. Matibag, sumama po ako sa inyo dahil alam ko na isa po kayo sa arkitekto ng pagkapanalo ni President Rodrigo Roa Duterte. Tama po ba?
Hindi po. Sapagkat noong 2016, ako po ay campaign manager ng Region 4A ni Secretary Rojas po.
Ayun. So, hindi po kayo connected nung panahon na yon kay Pangulong Rodrigo Roa Duterte?
Hindi po.
Opo. Kung kayo po ay nagtatrabaho sa mga iba't ibang politiko, kayo po ba ay matatawag na political analyst o political ano pang tawag po doon? Yung mga nagsasagawa, nagpapatakbo ng politika ng bawat politiko?
Well, maaari pong matawag na tayo ay tumutulong sa ating pinaniniwalaan na kung sino po ang dapat manungkulan sa ating bayan.
Opo. Ibig po sabihin, pwede po kayong gumawa ng isang kandidato at manalo?
Makatulong lang po. Sapagkat ang paniwala ko po, hindi naman po isang tao, lalo na ako, ang magpapanalo ng isang kandidato.
Opo. So ngayon po, masasabi po natin na pwede po kayong magtrabaho bilang isang political operator?
Ano po bang konteksto ng political operator? Ang ibig ko po sabihin, ako po ay nasasama sa isang political party noon, so tumutulong po tayong maipanalo ang isang kandidato ng political party.
Opo. Maipanalo lang po? O ano po ba ang trabaho ng political operator sa Pilipinas? Pwedeng gumawa? Pwede din sumira?
Well, ang political operator to be successful, kailangan po yung kanyang sasamahan ay magtagumpay ang kanya pong laban at advokasya.
Okay. Yun lang po. Maraming salamat po, kaibigang attorney.
Thank you, Senator Judge Padilla. The Senate President is recognized for his interjections.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Presiding Officer. Tutuloy ko lang po yung mga katanungan ng mga kasamahan natin kanina. Mr. Witness, yung babalikan ko po yung persons of interest. Itong persons of interest, ito yung nakausap niyong actual killer?
Yung persons of interest po can be characterized na merong nakausap.
Pero yung kausap niyo, ito ba yung actual na nakontrata?
Well, persons of interest yun nga po, ang sinasabi nga po natin, ito yung maaring makapagturo Hindi pa po natin nakausap ito lahat. Ang sinasabi ko po kanina, dun sa atin pong mga nakilala, meron na pong mga pamilya na gustong makipag-usap sa atin at magbigay ng impormasyon. Katunayan, nakakausap na po.
So hindi ito yung actual na nakontrata?
Yun po yung dumadaan pa po sa proseso ng aming pong pag-iimbestiga.
Gusto ko lang by process of elimination. Yung nakausap nyo is hindi pa actual na nakontrata?
Hindi po natin masiguro doon po sa natitirang numero kung ang isa doon ay siya talaga actual na nakontrata or grupo po.
Yung ibang, nasabi niyo may iba rin ba kayong nakakausap pa?
Tama po.
Yung iba naman ay makakapagturo kung sino yung nakontrata?
Tama po, Your Honor.
Tama. At itong mga taong makakapagturo, ano po yung mga ebidensya na pwede niyong sabihin na credible itong mga taong to?
Doon na po pumapasok yung mga intelligence report po sa amin using our tools, the human intel and the
Give me an
officer's
example.
intel.
Bigyan lang kami ng concrete example na ito ay credible, pwedeng paniwalaan na magtuturo. Just give us an example.
Yung ginagamit po namin dito na human intel ay yung mga dati na rin po naming informants na nasa ground po, na nakakakuha po ng mga intelligence na ipinapasa po sa amin.
So base ito sa human intelligence.
Human intel po, tama.
Pero pwede ring mangyari na itong person of interest wala ring kalalabasan.
Posible po yun. Nangyayari po yan sa mga kaso po na...
So yung nasabi nyo kahapong 3 to 6 months, pwede rin after 6 months, 0. Walang kalalabasan.
That is a possibility. Pero gaya nga ng sabi ko, because we were able to narrow down the numbers at meron pong strong indication right now, kasama na nga po yung hangarin ng mga pamilya nitong mga taong nakausap na tinitingnan natin, eh dito po namin ibinabase na mukhang lalabas po ang positibong resulta po.
So in other words, yung probability, mataas.
Mataas po.
Gaano kataas? Bigyan nyo kami ng more or less lang in
Siguro
your own
po
opinion.
From the scale of 1 to 10, dadudun po tayo ngayon sa 6 to 7 po.
6 to 7 na merong kalalabasan na magtuturong may nakontrata.
Tama po.
Babalikan ko lang yung statement nyo na nakakausap nyo parati yung na-mention nyo yung Vice President Security Group. Tama
Kasama
ba?
po yun sa isinama natin na pag-aaral po, pag-imbestiga.
Correct. Kasama ba sila sa persons of interest itong Vice President Security Group?
Meron
Kasi
pong...
nabanggit nyo kahapon na madali silang tawagin, nandun lahat. No? Kasama ba sila dito sa persons of interest ninyo?
Well,
kung pwede nyong sabihin, I know you're investigating, kung pwede lang sabihin.
Actually, meron pong personalidad na kasama ron.
Merong kasama doon. But naintindihan ko na itong VP Security Group is also members of the government.
Yun nga po yung sinasabi ko that there are, actually doon po sa aming na-narrow down, there are many uniform who is in active service.
Na pwede rin palitan ng executive at any given time. Tama?
Tama po.
So paano, kung pwede silang palitan, paano sila nagiging persons of interest na merong potentially manggaling sa kanila itong pagkukontrata?
Yun po yung precisely the reason na ayaw po natin na yung term na tinatawag na masunog yung atin pong lead na kinukuha. Baka po maka-apekto pag nagkaroon po ng mga sudden po na galawan. So right now, yung tao po nating sinusundan at para madali rin po sa aming pag-monitor and surveillance, mas maigi po na nakapirmis po.
Sige. Maraming salamat, Ginong Cristo.
Salamat
Thank
po.
you, Mr. Presiding Officer.
Senator Judge Pangilinan is recognized for his interjections. Thereafter, Senator Judge Go. Thereafter, Senator Judge Hontiveros. Senator Judge Pangilinan, you have 2 minutes. You may proceed when you're ready, sir.
Maraming salamat, Mr. Presiding Officer. Ginoong witness, nabanggit ng ilang testigo bago sa iyo, no? Si Attorney Lotok, na in so many words, above his pay grade yung usapin ng interagency coordination. At sabi pa niya, maaaring ang direktor mismo, former director or current director, ang makapagsasabi niyan. Nung sinabi niyo merong security threat na national security threat, nakipag-ugnayan ba ang NBI sa iba pang mga ahensya ng pamahalaan para pag-usapan ito?
Meron po kaming tuloy-tuloy na ugnayan.
At sino-sino ang mga ahensya o alin dito sa mga ahensya ng pamahalaan ang nakipag-ugnayan kayo?
Actually po, sinasabi nga natin, meron po kasing security cluster kung saan po natatalakay yung mga kailangan pong pag-usapan. So sa ngayon po, through the Office of the Executive Secretary, meron po akong mga pakikipag-usap dun po sa military units din po natin. If you will not mind, I will not mention the exact military unit po.
So there have been interagency coordination to assess and to address itong kinokonsideran ninyong national security threat.
Totoo po yan. Yes po.
Okay. Doon sa usapin ng pag-iimbestiga ninyo naman, nasabi ninyong may narinig kayong mga banta, napanood ninyo. Meron ba kayong na-monitor na nagbanta naman ang ating Pangulo bilang pag-retaliate doon sa nasabing banta ni ni Vice President?
Ibig sabihin po, banta ng Pangulo sa Vice President?
Yes. Meron ba kayong na-monitor?
Wala po.
Kung meron man, hypothetically, tama ba yun?
Well, kailangan pong imbestigahan din kung meron pong ganung banta.
In other words, would you consider in a hypothetical situation revenge as justified if there is a threat to the President, he decides, he likewise publicly threatens whoever, not necessarily the Vice President, whoever.
Palagi ko po hindi tama sapagkat hindi naman po ito isang justifying o exempting na circumstance pagka nangyari po yung pagbabanta. Lalong-lalo na po kung mataas na opisyal, hindi po pwedeng maging batayan ang kanyang paghihiganti para magbanta po.
So ang paghihiganti, self-defense ba yun?
Hindi po.
Hindi. In other words, hindi legal ang paghihiganti sa usapin ng kung ikaw ay tinakot o ikaw may banta laban sa'yo.
Hindi po.
Or kung ikaw ay, when is it allowed? When is self-defense a valid, how do you call it, assertion to allow for non-liability for a crime? Kailan?
Nakabalangkas po yan sa revised penal code, kaya lang hindi ko po kabisado, pero kung meron po talagang yung talaga actual na ang isa pong malinaw, nangyayari na, at kailangan mo iligtas ang buhay, karangalan at property po ng ibang tao at lalong-lalo ng mga kamag-anak mo or kaibigan, doon po pumapasok yung self-defense na valid. May mga po siya, elemento po.
So, just to wrap up, so ang banta ng Pangulo, hypothetically, ay hindi tama.
Hindi po tama. Yan po ay magbabiolate kung hindi man po sa batas na umiiral na kodigo penal, doon po sa konstitusyon bilang isang Pangulo ka, meron ka pong katungkulan na igalang ang batas, igalang ang konstitusyon at maging parehas po sa ibang tao po.
Okay. Maraming salamat. Thank you, Mr.
Thank you, Senator Judge Pangilinan, for the information of Senator Judge Lapid. And those who might be interested, the name of the bell ringer is Anika. For easy reference, in case there are future reminders or complaints. Who is next? Senator Judge Go is recognized. You may proceed, sir, when you're ready, and you have 2 minutes, sir.
Salamat, Mr. Presiding Officer. I just want to put it on record, given that the incident with the sheriff in July 2011 was discussed in detail during the cross-examination of the defense earlier. I just find it proper that I shed light on the matter without any bias, given that these are matters of fact and based on personal knowledge. Since nabanggit po at ipinakita po kahapon, wag mo nang pumatak yung oras, hindi pa naman tanong yun. Kasama na, sir? Since nabanggit at ipinakita po kahapon ng insidente noong July 2011 involving the Vice President, then Mayor Sara Duterte, and a sheriff, I would like to examine the relevance and context of this incident in determining the pattern of behavior of the Vice President. May I ask the NBI Director, would you agree that determining the context of actions of individuals is important to have a fair and impartial investigations?
Yun po yung kasama doon, yung historical behavior to establish a pattern of violence.
Okay. Are you aware na may alam niyo ba yung konteksto at dahilan kung bakit nagawa ni then Mayor Sara Duterte yon? And are you aware na may demolition noong panahong yon involving 217 families who were facing eviction?
Tama po, ang pagkakaalam ko po, si Sheriff Abe ay dala-dala ang isang legal and valid order of demolition at gusto niyang ipatupad po yung demolition bilang pagganap po sa kanyang tungkulin po.
A simple search online would provide further details. No? Nagalit po si then Mayor Sara noon dahil nakiusap siya sa sheriff na kung pwede bang i-postpone ng ilang oras at i-delay mo ng eviction ng 217 na families. At naalala ko noon na meron pong pulisiya si former Mayor Rodrigo Duterte na ayaw niya pong magpaalis ng mga informal settlers pag walang malapitan, walang malipatan po yung mga illegal settlers. Kawawa naman po itong mga to na minadali silang paalisin. Is it correct that Davao City was then, sabi ko nga kanina, no? It was correct that Davao City was then dealing with the aftermath of a flash flood. At that then Mayor Sara Duterte had come from attending to affected residents before proceed. Alam niyo ba ito?
Well, I was informed po kanina nung sinasabi yan.
Alam niyo bang 31 po yung namatay nung panahon yon?
Yun po, nalaman ko po kanina.
Actually, nandun po ako nung nangyari po yung insidente. At after 2 days, bumisita rin po yung si former Vice President Jojo Binay. Kasama niya yung anak niya na si Senator Nancy Binay. Mismo, witness po ako doon na talagang hirap ng sitwasyon. June 29 po yung nangyari na madaling araw, yung flash floods. At marami pong namatay, no? 28 to 31. At after a day, July 1, may schedule po yung sheriff na palisin yung mga informal settlers na wala pang malilipatan. Ang maalala ko lang po na nakiusap si then Mayor Sara na kung pwedeng ipagpaliban muna ng ilang oras o araw yung pag demolish po sa mga illegal or informal settlers na walang malilipatan. Actually, sa totoo lamang po, since we are here for the search for the truth and justice, I believe it is incumbent upon me to put on record my recollection of what happened. Yun po yung maalala ko. Sabi ko nga na may pulisiya po yung syudad noon na kung walang malilipatan yung mga informal settlers ay wag munang paalisin. Kawawa po yung mga kababayan nating mahirap na wala pong malilipatan. Yun po ang konteksto ng nangyari. We are not justifying violence, but we are highlighting that context is important to have a fair assessment of the incident. Magkakaiba naman po yung nangyari nung 2011 sa mga pangyayaring iniimbestigahan niyo po dito. In fact, not just this incident, in our search for the truth, importante alamin natin ang dahilan at konteksto ng mga pangyayari upang maging patas, objective at makatarungan ang ating pagsusuri. Yun lamang po. Ubus na yung oras ko. Last 2 minutes na po.
Thank you, Senator
Mr. President. Thank you, Mr. Presiding Officer. Salamat po. Tapos na ba yung oras ko?
Sabi ni Anika, tapos na daw.
Pagtabla yun sa basketball po, pagtabla sa last 2 minutes. May extension na 5 minutes po. Thank you, second round.
Thank you, Senator Judge. Go. Senator Judge Hontiveros is recognized. You may proceed, ma'am, when you're ready. You have 2 minutes as well.
Salamat, Mr. Presiding Officer. Mr. Witness, nabanggit po kanina ang political speech at pag-express ng dissent sa gobyerno. Bilang abogado at public servant, kailan po sa tingin ninyo lumalampas sa kritisismo at nagiging national security concern?
Ang isa pong kritisismo ay lumalagpas na sa yung kalaya magsalita kung meron na po tayong nalalagpasan at nababiolate na batas at lalong-lalo na po kung ito ay maghahantong sa kaguluhan at makukompromiso po ang ating national security. If our national security will be under attack, malaki po itong problema.
So, kung may kritisismo, pero meron din pong potensyal na lumikha ng kaguluhan o gawing insecure ang national security, lumalampas na po sa kritisismo, nagiging concern of national security ayon sa tingin po ninyo.
Tama po, binabantayan na po natin yan ng masusi at mas malapit na pagbabantay.
Alright, salamat po. Ibang paksa naman po, Mr. Witness, sa lahat po ba ng sitwasyon kung saan nag-iba ang testimonya ng isang witness, masasabi po bang wala ng katotohanan yung pahayag nila?
Ang testimonya po na paiba-iba ay doon po pumapasok yung intervention ng korte na nakikinig kung anong testimonya ang dapat pakinggan. At titingnan po dyan ano ba ang circumstances, bakit may ganong testimonya, bakit nagbago, at eventually kung ano po yung talagang nilagdaan at kinilala, ay importante po yun.
Speaking of yung circumstances, meron po bang mga valid reasons o meron po bang mga dahilan kung bakit nag-iiba ang testimonya sa karanasan at obserbasyon nyo?
Marami po. Marami pong may pagbabanta sa buhay ng tumitistigo o sa kanyang pamilya o sa kanyang katatayuan. Maaari din po na dahil may konsiderasyon na pinansyal, pwedeng magbagong testimonya. At meron pa po siguro na tinitingnan din kung napasasakripisyo ang kanyang pagkatao, hindi naman yung banta sa buhay niya, kundi sa pagkakakulong or kung ano man, or meron pong taong gusto pong pagbigyan sa kanyang pagtistigo.
So, bagamat, syempre naman po naghihigpit ang korte sa mga usapin ng katotohanan at standards ng katotohanan, ay hindi po masasabi sa lahat ng pagkakataon na wala ng katotohanan ang isang testimonya o yun, na hindi
yan.
na totoo ang isang testimonya o bahagi ng isang testimonya.
Tama po yan, at lalong-lalo na kung may iba pong ebidensya, whether documentary or testimonial evidence din, pwede pong ibangga doon sa testimonyang sinabi para ma-attain po at makita kung kailangang tanggapin o paniwalaan ng testimonyang sinasabi po ng isang tao.
At doon po pumapasok yung wisdom ng korte, timbangin ang lahat at subukan pa rin gabayan ang buong proseso na buuin yung buong kwento at totoong kwento mula sa kahit pira-piraso.
Tama po yun, yung wisdom and of course guided po by the law, the letters and the spirit of the law po.
Of course. Huling tanong na lamang po, Mr. Witness. Sundan ko yung tanong kanina ni Senate President tungkol sa persons of interest. At ang punto po ninyo, tama po ba na pwedeng persons of interest ang kanyang mga security ni Vice President? Wrapping up, Mr. Presiding Officer, ilan po sa pagkakaalam nyo ang security complement ni Vice President?
Hindi ko po sigurado sa eksaktong numero, but what I've seen from the news before, it's 750 and it's reduced to 300 plus po.
300 plus ang security complement ni Vice President. Yun po ba ay kinonsidera ng NBI sa pag-characterize ng mga utterances ni VP bilang lampas sa kritisismo at papunta na or ganap na concern sa national security?
Ibabalik ko po ron sa ginamit namin po na 5 standards na ginagamit po ng Secret Service ng Amerika in National Threat Assessment, yung kung tinatawag na Protective Intelligence Threat Assessment Methodology po. Babalik ko po doon, isa po yan sa tinitingnan. Doon po pumapasok yan sa capacity o kapasidad ng tao po na nagsalita ng pagbabanta.
Okay. So yung fact na may higit 300 security complement ay iniugnay nyo doon sa isang standard ng capacity.
Tama po.
Alright. Salamat po, Mr. Witness. Salamat, Mr. Presiding
Thank you,
Officer.
Senator Judge Hontiveros. If there are no other senator judges, the chair will have a brief. Senator Judge Pia Cayetano is recognized for her interjection. You may proceed, ma'am, when you're ready. You have 2 minutes. I believe this is a continuation of the lady's interjection yesterday. Thereafter, Senator Judge Alan Cayetano.
We are ready, Mr. Presiding Officer. For the witness. Sir, nung May 13, you're recorded as saying, katunayan, nakiusap nga po ako kay John Consulta na puntahan kami dito sa Sequoia Hotel dahil meron po kaming planning mula po pa kaninang umaga, and you went on to say nandun ka with all the deputy directors, etc. Do you confirm?
Well, nakausap ko po si John Consulta.
No, just confirm, sir. Did you say
Yes,
that?
I
Na
talked
nandun
to-
kayo sa Sequoia? Yun lang. Statement na
Haba
yun.
po kasi yung statement nyo.
I just
pasensya
need
na.
you to confirm, did you say that you were in Sequoia?
Yes, I talked to...
Thank you.
To
So
John
you are
Consulta.
confirming? Okay.
Yes po.
And then later on, dinagdag nyo, wala kami sa Senado, we are on stand down because that's the instructions. Did you also say that?
Yes po.
Thank you. Meanwhile, in another interview, you then said, mayroon request si GM Veloso to help them secure the area kasi napapansin nila na magulo, labas-pasok. Nagpadala kaming ilan lang na ahente, parang 4 to 6 na tao na nag-iikot sa premises ng GIS. Hindi pumasok sa Senado. I am quoting Inquirer dated 13 May 2026. Did you say this?
Yes, sa GSIS po.
Okay, thank you. So, I asked now for the kind indulgence. May papa-flash lang ako. It's just a photo, dear colleagues, both parties. Paki-flash lang. So sabi nyo nasa GSIS. You confirm na nasa GSIS yung
Tama
mga
po.
ahente mo. Pwede magpa-update sa technical what's going on. It's just a photo. No. Ito, I'm just showing the Senate website for the record. Senate website. Tapos po, nandito po sa right corner. Can you read it, sir? It says contact information. Can you read it?
Hindi ko po mababasa.
Okay, paabot ko sa page yung same thing. It is just the Senate website. Page, pakiabot. Thank you. Pakibasa lang po yung address ng Senado.
Contact information, GSIS Building, JW Jokno Building, Pasay City, 1300 Metro Manila, 632-8552.
Okay na po yung phone number, no need.
Opo.
So pakiulit, ano hong building?
GSIS Building.
Opo, kasi nag-iisa lang naman ho ang address namin. Umuupa po kami dito sa GSIS. Iisang building lang ho po yun. And for the record, kung saan nakita yung tao mo, likod lang po yun ng office ni Senator Loren Legarda. Nasa video po yun. I will not bother everyone with that. Kung gusto nyo, Presiding Officer, I can, but for now, I won't. Kasama po yun sa area na inuupahan ng Senado sa GSIS. We are paying rent for the information of all. So yan po ang gusto ko lang ma-establish. It seems kasi po na you swore an oath, no, to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. Is that correct?
Yes po.
Thank you very much. So, sa kaalaman po ng ating mga nanunood at masigasig na taga-subaybay ng mga kababayan natin, Rule 133 on the weight and sufficiency of evidence. Sabi sa Section 1, preponderance of evidence in determining where the preponderance or superior weight of evidence on the issues involved lies, the court may consider all the facts and circumstances of the case, the witness's manner of testifying, their intelligence, and also their personal credibility. Furthermore, in Section 11 of Rule 132, a witness may be impeached by evidence that his or her general reputation for truth, honesty, or integrity is bad. So nag-ring na yung bell, I will be loyal, I will follow this na lang, pero may record pa sana akong papakita. If the body wants, I will show the video na sinabi din po ni NBI Director in an interview, wala pong nasaktan, wala pong nangbugbog, but we have a video, alam po ng lahat ng mga kasamahan natin na yung OSAA, yung aming pong personnel, binugbog. May video po tayo niyan. I leave it to the body, I leave it to the presiding officer if we want to take up the time of this court to show that. Yun lang po, maraming salamat.
Thank you, Senator Judge Pia Cayetano. Senator Judge Alan Cayetano is recognized for his interjections and interventions. And if there are no other Senator Judge that will do so, the presiding officer shall make his interjections. Senator Judge Alan Cayetano, may proceed.
Before the questions, just two manifestations. No?
The gentleman may proceed with his manifestation.
First of all, to the NBI Director, he looked at me when I smiled a while ago. I wasn't laughing at you or anyone. Nung sinabi mo lang 6'7" kasi, yung or 7'6", mga pamangking ko, basta't sinabing 6'7", nagtatawanan na.
Naintindihan ko po.
I
Nakita ko
hope
po
you
kayo
weren't.
doon.
Yung iba kasi hindi, baka akala ko anong
I
ibig
understand
sabihin.
po.
And we're on
Yes,
TV, so we can be on opposite sides, but we can be very professional, di ba?
Salamat
So,
po.
the second manifestation, Mr. President and Honorable Presiding Officer, you know, much have been said about technicalities, humahaba to, may mga relevant, irrelevant. So I just want the prosecution and defense to know, because we're gonna go on a short break. Short lang naman, SONA sa Monday kontra SONA sa Tuesday, makikita tayo sa Wednesday. Both sides, you're doing a good job. Both sides. I mean, the prosecution, your job is to prosecute, and the defense, your job is to defend. The onus is on us. May tinatawag na defense senator judge, may tinatawag na prosecution senator judge. Wala pa akong impeachment dito na hindi nangyari yan. Di ba? Ang importante, hindi lang yung resulta, but yung proseso. And I always say, democracy is messy. If you want a dictatorship, it's less messy, but it's a dictatorship. May problema. You want a democracy, it's not. Diba? Having said that, I have a lot of questions, but I want to show Senator Raffy Tulfo some good faith, because he always shows me good faith when we're in the lounge. Hindi ko na itatanong today, since I think in the next few weeks, madalas naman kami magkikita ni Director Matibag dahil marami siyang iniimbestigahan na kasama ako doon. So I'll be seeing you, Mr. Director. Thank you, Mr. Presiding Officer.
Thank you, Senator Judge Alan Cayetano. Senator Judge Imee Marcos is recognized for her questions and interjections. You may proceed, ma'am. You have 2 minutes.
Yes, thank you very much to our presiding judge. Kumusta Attorney Mel, Congresswoman Ann, at sa lahat na narito. Itatanong ko lang, kasi sinusundan ko rin yung kwento ninyo, na kahapon sabi ninyo na 100% certain na si VP Sara contracted someone over the alleged plan to kill the president as well as 2 others. Tapos, ito naman, corroborative naman ito, nung sinabi ninyo, nung 29 April yata sa House of Representatives, na sinabi rin ninyo, meron na kaming leads at mukhang talaga yun ang findings. Kaya may grave threat at inciting. Tama ba na sinabi po ninyo to?
Tama po. Meron pong report po.
At alam din natin na nag-file na yung NBI February 2025 na ng inciting to sedition case against BP nung February last year. Ngayon, nagtatanong lang ako, 14 months later, as late as 29 April, the NBI still has not identified yung supposed assassin. Does it mean na at that time na nagpila sila ng kaso ng inciting noong Pebrero na nakaraang taon, the NBI wasn't even sure if there was an actual assassin? Alam ko before your time to, no, Mel? Pero tinatanong ko lang, how can the NBI be sure there was really a contract if they can't even identify the said assassin?
Respectfully po, Your Honor, magkaiba po kasi ang elemento nung yung pong kaso ng grave threat saka inciting based on the investigation report at based po sa findings ng NBI noon, ay nakumpleto na po yung elemento ng grave threats saka ng inciting to sedition. Hindi naman po kailangang mahanap kung sino po yung kinausap na assassin. That is not an element for the filing of a complaint.
So ang sinasabi po ninyo, tama yung pagka-file, pero hindi kompleto yung mga findings dun sa affidavit of investigation dahil yan din ang sinabi ni NBI agent Attorney Longtok na nandito siya at pinahiwatig niya na siya ay lead investigator pero wala siyang personal knowledge of whether there was an actual assassin. So, why is it that 14 months after filing of the cases, the assassin is yet to be named? At ngayon, humihingi pa kayo ng 3 hanggang 6 na buwan para tuklasin kung sino nga yun.
Ganito nga po, yung pong grave threat at inciting to sedition, nandun na po sa DOJ yan. That is the subject of a resolution na dapat gawin ng DOJ. Magkaiba po yan, ihiwalay po natin. Ito po ang ating investigation dito is an investigation because of the continuing active and serious threat to the President amounting to the effect na yung national security is only being compromised.
Pero hindi
so, dun po natin
yan,
tinitingnan.
Hindi po yan ang sinabi ninyo eh. Kasi ang sinabi ninyo dun sa House of Representatives, sa Justice Committee, maliwanag sa amin nyo na meron kaming leads at mukhang ito na talaga ang findings. Kaya nga po nag-file ng kaso ng grave threat at inciting to sedition. Sabi ninyo, yan ang dahilan. That was your statement. Because if you stand by these words na may finding na talaga, at yun ang dahilan kaya nagpila noong February, as early as February, the date that the NBI filed, the NBI already had findings that VP Sara spoke with an assassin. How come kayo ngayon, sinasabi ninyo na wala naman nung panahon na yon? Ganon din ang sinabi ni Attorney Lotok. So, hindi ko maintindihan ngayon, talaga bang may assassin na na-identify nung Pebrero o wala?
Wala pong na-identify nung February.
Bakit niyo sinabi doon sa House of Representatives na yung dahilan na nagpila ng kaso kasi meron na kayong assassin?
That is totally magkaiba po na issue. Again, babalik po ako.
Pareho yung issue eh, kasi yun din ang inaalam ng Justice Committee noon eh. At ang liwaliwanag na sabi nyo, yung dahilan na nakapagpila na sila ay dahil natuklasan na yung assassin.
Wala po akong sinabi doon na natuklasan. I also mentioned at that time that there are persons of interest. Again, we have to go back po na yung inciting to the sedition and grave threat.
Transcript kasi.
Okay po, tama naman po yung binabasa.
Kaya nga nag-file ng kaso kasi meron na kaming leads. Ang liwanag ng pagkasabi ninyo eh.
We are referring, may lead na nga po, ibig sabihin, yung pong grave threat completed na eh. Meron ng threat. In fact, tumatawid na po tayo sa merong kinausap. And we are already talking about na doon sa admission mismo ni Vice President Sara na meron siyang kinausap na papatay at pumayag yung papatay.
Parang napakaliwanag nung sinabi niyo noon at mas malabo di hamak ngayon. Ngayon, bakit kinailangan pa mag-issue ng AO11 kung talaga namang continuing investigation? Dahil ba ito sa April 12 yung sinasabi niyong Rage Coalition?
Kasama po yan. Paulit-ulit ko pong sinasabi na there is a 5 points na tinignan po natin na ginagamit po ng isang social
yes,
service.
we're aware of that. The sexual, economic, etc. Alam naman natin yon kasi yan din ang gamit ng US, di ba?
Tama po. Kaya po, merong ongoing investigation. Sinabi ko na yung threat is serious, continuing, and active, na ito po ay tumatawid na rin to the level of national security.
Kung talagang may pattern of violence, doon sa Rage Coalition launching, andun ba si VP Sara?
Wala po.
Ganun pala eh. As a matter of fact, she wasn't even there. Siya ba nagsalita? Siya ba nagsabi noon?
Si Mayor Baste po.
Are you implying na may conspiracy kay VP Sara at Mayor Baste to have the President killed?
Yan po yung aming tinitingnan. Kanina po, tanong ni Senator Ping Lacson, tinitingnan po natin kung mayroong sabwatan po na nangyayari.
May katibayan ba tayo dito sa conspiracy? Dahil matindi ang pinag-aralan nyo bilang abogado. Sapat ba ito para ipakita na may conspiracy dun sa dalawa?
Yun po din yung sagot ko kanina kay Senator Ping Lacson, kaya po hindi pa nakasuhan sapagkat tulad po ng mga kaso na pumapasok at alam po ng mga abogado na conspiracy is sometimes harder to prove than the crime itself. That's why we have to make a case build-up para masiguro po natin ng isasampang kaso
Sa
ay
madaling
lulusot.
sabi, wala pa pong katibayan ng conspiracy.
Yun po yung tinitingnan nga nating anggulo. Kaya
Yun
tinitingnan
nga, pero
mga
sa
ebidensya.
ngayon, habang tayo ang naglilitis dito, wala pa.
Kung meron na po, na-file na po namin yan. Kailangan po lumusot ito under Memorandum Circular Number 20 of the Department of Justice.
Ngayon,
reasonable certainty of conviction.
Alam natin yan. Ang sabi ninyo, yung Special Task Force, ano ang gagawin ng Special Task Force kung natumbok na rin yung assassin nung Pebrero pa? O natumbok na ninyo ngayon na nasa ilan na interview ninyo? Ano ang gagawin sa mga assassin na to?
Then, kailangan po natin silang imbestigan at kausapin kung gaano kalawak para malaman po natin kung huminto na ba ang threat sa presidente. Sapagkat alamin natin kung sino po ang makakausap.
Dahil maraming nagtatanong kung bakit pa kailangan mag-case build-up samantalang eto na tayo sa impeachment trial, eto na tayo na wala pang actual assassination, kaya hindi naman maintindihan kung ano pa ang silbi ng Special Task Force.
Alam po ninyo, yung pong dito sa impeachment, magkaiba po yung requirement eh. Hindi naman po natin kailangan pang ipresenta kung sino yung kinausap na assassin. Ang importante lang po rito ay yung admission mismo ng Vice Presidente na humanap siya ng mamamatay para patayin ng Presidente at iyon ay pumayag. Doon po papasok na yan. Dahil po, respectfully, dito po sa impeachment court, hindi naman po necessary na may criminal conviction, kaya po inilatag po yan kung ano-ano yung mga basehan po.
Kindly wind up,
Sa
Senator
ating
Judge Imee.
presiding judge at pati na rin kay Attorney Matibag, ang ating direktor, sabi po ninyo na matutumbok ninyo ito sa loob ng 3 hanggang 6 na buwan. Kung maaari, sabihin na ninyo sa amin, pwede naman i-disclose kung tutuusin at sasampahan naman yan ng demanda through regular filing, hindi dito sa impeachment. At di naman siya subject of arrest for inquest proceeding. Bakit hindi sabihin? Or kung maaari, bumalik na lang kayo in 3 to 6 months. Pwede bang i-requestion kapag meron na kayo natuklasan at napunteriyang assassin?
Again, ang sagot ko po dyan, iba po naman yung national security protection at impeachment. Dito po sa impeachment, yung sinasabing betrayal of public trust ay pumasok na po dahil meron pong sinumpang tungkulin ng ating Vice Presidente to protect and defend the Constitution, execute the law, do justice to everyone, and consecrate herself to the service of the nation.
Alam po natin
Yung
yan.
pong ginawa niya po, papasok po yun sa betrayal of public trust kasi enforce the law, do justice. Pero ito po, execute the law, ito execute the president po eh.
Alam po natin yan, pero binubuo natin ang mga elemento ng grave threats at inciting to sedition. Maraming salamat.
Thank you, Senator Judge Imee. Any other Senator Judge who wishes to make an interjection? Unless Senator Judge will have some interjections then. Just a few questions. Anika, kindly turn on the timer too, just to be sure that I'm within the time. Director Matibag, ito ba ang unang pagkakataon na may binuong task force para mag-imbestiga sa mga banta laban sa Pangulo?
Sa pag-aalala ko po, opo.
Sa kasaysayan ng NBI?
Based on the records turned over to me, wala po.
Hindi po ba normal, regular at ordinaryo lamang na magkaroon ng banta ang Pangulo, ikalawang Pangulo, o sino mang mataas na opisyal, o sino mang mayaman dito sa ating bansa?
Tama po.
Kaya kami mga bodyguard sila, di ba?
Tama po yan. Araw-araw po ay alam natin na may threat, pero magkakaibang level po.
Tama po yun. At kung may mga threat tulad nito, at kung ito ang unang pagkakataong ginawa ito ng NBI, ang humahawak na mga bantang ito ay ang PSC na, o PSG dati. Tama po ba?
Tama po. Kaya po, meron po kaming coordination po.
Yan. Tutumbukin ko na po yung mga punto ko para hindi ako lumampas sa oras na sinusundan ng lahat. Sa inyong investigasyon, may bayad po ba yung kinausap ni VP Sara? Kung 100% certain po kayo na may kinausap siya para patayin di umano ang Pangulo, may bayad po ba yun o libre?
That is the part of the investigation po that we have to establish po.
So sa ngayon, hindi pa po niyo sigurado kung pagkakaibigan lang o samahan lang o may bayad yung usapang yun?
Tama po, but we consider every possibilities po.
Ngayon, would it matter, Director Matibag, kung sino yung sinabihan niya? Kasama po sa 5 yung pamantayan na binanggit po ninyo ay identity of person involved and capacity.
Tama.
Halimbawa po, kung ang kinausap na ikalawang Pangulo ay kaklase niya sa college na nagtatrabaho sa call center, relevant po ba't mahalaga yon? Kaugnay ng capacity, hindi ba? At kaugnay ng identity ng taong kinausap.
That will be considered in the investigation po.
So ibig sabihin, hindi po yun babagsak sa valid threat, hindi po ba?
Hindi po natin alam at kailangan pong alamin yung kung ano yung pag-uusap o ano po mga konsiderasyon.
Pero base sa inyong karanasan po, kung retired police, retired military, active police, marahil, may punto kayo, hindi po
Mas
ba?
malaki po ang posibilidad.
Pero kung walang military background, walang background kaugnay sa paggamit ng anumang uri ng armas o walang background kaugnay sa anumang karahasang nagawa na niya sa kapwa niya, may basehan din po yun para sabihin yung kabaligtaran, hindi po ba?
Titingnan po natin, tama po.
At bilang panghuling katanungan, ito pong inyong task force ay binuo para imbestigahan ang mga banta laban sa Pangulo. Wala na po itong kinalaman sa ikalawang Pangulo mismo kaugnay ng mga kasong isinampa na laban sa kanya na grave threats at inciting to sedition.
Tama po, Your Honor.
Thank you, Director Matibag. Unless there are any other Senator Judge Legarda, I'm sorry, you are recognized. I thought there was no other Senator Judge. That's why I already interjected. Senator Judge Legarda for her interjection. Senator Soto? You have 2 minutes, ma'am.
I guess I'm the last to ask. I don't know why the majority senators, Macho Block, don't want me to ask simple questions on national security. People laugh. No, this is levity aside. It's a barkada talk. It's very simple. I studied national security. I'm a graduate of my master's in national security. I was discussing it with former General Lacson, Senator Lacson, because the words national security have been used many times in this hall in the past few days. So my questions are very simple to, just for the record, he's my friend, my compadre, Director Melvin Matibag, and Congresswoman Ann. Okay. So hindi po dahil nagpapalambot ako dahil kumpare ko siya, gusto ko lang ipahayag ang simpleng katanungan dahil madalas niyong ginagamit, national security. At alam to ni Melvin, I'm a national security, I won't say expert, graduate, I studied it. Batay po sa inyong kaalaman, records o ebidensyang nakalap, meron bang mas malawak na koordinasyon sa isang interagency task force o coordinated action sa pagitan ng inyong bureau, ang NBI, ang Presidential Security Command or Group, perhaps ang Philippine National Police, or even the National Security Council or ang NSA, at iba pang mga ahensyang may kaugnayan dahil sa mga alleged na pahayag ng ating Vice Presidente?
Meron po, ako po meron makikipag-usap po sa mga sa PSG po, may coordination kami. Katunayan, yung pong aming ibang inaksyonan ay base po sa intel report po sa amin ng PSD, ng Presidential Security Command. At meron din nga po ako, nabanggit ko na kanina, pakipag-ugnayan po sa military at sa security cluster through the Executive Secretary po.
So, all of these discussions, are there issuances, memoranda, notices, minutes, directives, reports, official documentation na nagpapatunay sa naturang coordination ng task force?
Yung pong aking mga report ay aking pong isinusumite through the Office of Executive Secretary po.
How long have you had this interagency task force, and is there such a name of a task force? Where was it? Kailan po tinatag? Kailan natapos? Was there a terminal report? And would you consider it, you've always said it's a national security concern.
Well, there's no specific task force, but the coordination, as I said, is to the Executive Secretary, but we are also coordinating with the Presidential Security Command and on the military group po.
Mr. Presiding Officer, would the reports of the interagency task force na tinatag ng NBI be given to the body so that we have an idea of the investigations conducted by the NBI? Has it been submitted?
Let the presiding officer make a distinction. Again, the court should be a passive body. We should be receiving evidence through the
prosecutor or the defense.
through the
yes.
counsel
Through
of the parties. Unless someone would present it, the court should simply await its submission, if at all, through the parties.
So my question would be, was this submitted as part of your evidence, the terminal report and the investigations conducted by this interagency body? Because it's the first time I'm actually realizing that there was such an interagency body and that this was actually discussed in the National Security Council.
Well, sabi ko nga po through the Executive Secretary, we have been making reports, and for reasons that I mentioned yesterday that I cannot give the reports that are confidential in nature, ay hindi ko po ito may bahagi sa impeachment court po na ito.
So wala pong pinabigyan maski anong mga kopya ng reports, even just a summation of all these investigations?
It was given po to the Executive Secretary po.
And this court has
wala po.
No copy of it. Therefore, I would terminate my questions here, and if we don't have a copy of that report, then we leave it at that. Thank you very much.
Salamat po.
Thank you, Senator Judge Legarda. If there are no other senator judges who wishes to make interjections, is there anything that either of the counsel for the parties wish to state before we adjourn? Attorney Vinluan, I see you standing up.
None at this time, Your Honor.
If there are none, Chair would now like to dispose of some administrative matters. First, the Chair would like to remind the parties in connection with the conference for the marking and/or transfer of markings and comparison of video exhibits tomorrow at 10 a.m. at the Rector Room. This shall proceed. Senator Judge Soto, what is your pleasure, sir?
I'm sorry, Your Honor, kind sir. Won't we dispose of the witness first?
You're correct, sir, Your Honor.
Thank you.
If there are no further questions, Director Matibag, you're excused, sir. Thank you for your time, thank you for your cooperation, and thank you for your patience as well.
Salamat din po.
You're
Magandang
excused, sir.
hapon po.
Thank you po. Magandang hapon po. To restate, the conference tomorrow at 10 a.m., the parties are duly reminded at the Rector Room. Number 2, subpoena shall be issued. The Clerk of Court is directed to issue a subpoena to Ms. Violeta Constantino, former Land Bank Manager, and Ms. Nenita Camposano, former Branch Manager also of Land Bank, for the resumption of trial on Wednesday, July 29 at 10 a.m. unless the court issues a subsequent order recalling or changing the date of the same. And one last point administratively, Chair would like to remind the parties to this case of Article 18 pertaining to the rule on making comments or disclosures on the part of the prosecutors, counsel for respondent, and their witnesses. I say this because I noticed that Attorney Tolosa, who is a registered counsel for the panel of prosecutors, and Attorney Poa, who is a registered counsel for the respondent, are both serving as the spokespersons as well. Thus far, both have been very careful, but as the trial goes on, it might take its toll with respect to the spokespersons and counsels at the same time being able to distinguish between the merits of the case and purely procedural observations and/or facts. So you might want to consider, in order to give a freer hand, nominating a spokesperson, that's purely a spokesperson that is not limited by the rules of the impeachment court with respect to what he or she can say. Because for your information, the court is also will be monitoring the statements being issued by the counsel, by the counsels for the parties, for the information and guidance of the counsels. And since this is the last witness of the panel of prosecutors for Article 4, Chair would like to inform the Senator judges that the pretrial order allocated 11 days for the presentation of this article by the panel of prosecutors. They actually consumed only 6 days given the withdrawal of certain witnesses. We consumed 3 days for oral arguments on the subpoena, on the interjections and debates with senators, and on the opening statements of the parties. A total of 9 days have been spent, therefore, since we started. So we are still ahead of 2 days based on the timetable given in the pre-trial order. I hope we can be able to continue along these lines. Yes, counsel for the respondent.
Your Honor, maybe inquire of the order of presentation for Wednesday next week, Your Honor.
It will be Ms. Violeta Constantino, as I understand, and then Ms. Nenita Camposano.
We confirm, Your Honor.
In that order, Your Honor.
We confirm, Your Honor.
In that order. Any other matters? There being no other matters? Yes, counsel?
No other matters. One other matter, Your Honor. So more than one witness per day.
We will be issuing the subpoena for both in case I have no idea if it's going to be a short, direct, and cross and or recross. So we shall see.
We will
kindly
submit,
prepare for the 2 witnesses on that date. If there are no other matters, Chair yes, Senator Judge Pia is recognized, ma'am.
Do I assume, given that we seem to be continuing in the same manner of presentation of witness, that I understand the presiding officer discussed with counsel about changing the order? Is that still on the table, just so we can also prepare?
It is, but we will find out by early next week, as intimated by the parties.
Okay.
That's why the chair earlier stated that the subpoena shall issue unless it will be recalled, as may be dictated by the circumstances. We will discuss it once there is agreement among the parties. Absent one, then we shall proceed as scheduled. There being no other business, trial is hereby adjourned until, kindly take note, 10 a.m. of Wednesday, July 29, 2026.